So hi everybody, and welcome to another wonderful and exciting evening of Xtra Bytes at Exploring Light. Now today is special for us because I think it's been almost 100 days now since we came online on air with our first episode, and when we were so much nervous about what will happen, are we doing the right thing, will people come, will we be able to pull it off? And thanks to this team of passionate photographers who are sitting right in front of you, who you can see right now. And thanks to all of them that we have not only done session after session successfully, we have crossed 100 days. We are now 48. After we complete today, we'll be 48 sessions strong. So that is, I think, phenomenal. And why is it so special to us today? Because we have been receiving a lot of requests as well from our friends that while we are inviting wonderful photographers, so how about having a session involving each mentor? And we've been debating internally whether we should be doing that, or whether we should not be doing that. And if we do, what should be the format? But today, finally, we decided to come, and so we will have at least one. But we're working on the calendar. We will one or two of the mentors per week, which will be midweek session. So you can start counting as blocking as 8 p.m. As your slot. We will be releasing the calendar very soon, the whole calendar. So as a first, we are going live with our wonderful Bengali village boy turned Americano, ATANU Bandyopadhyay. So there was Jazzy B and we have ATANU B. So he's our own B. Giving a brief introduction about him. So he was born and raised in a small village of Bankura, West Bengal. And he has been living in US for almost a decade now. So he's an electronics engineer by academics, a software consultant by profession, and a photographer by passion. And we will have a lot of interesting questions to ask him, and how does he mix his engineering into photography, and photography into software engineering. So he will have some tough questions to answer today. He's fluent in Bengali, Hindi, and English, but he struggles with Punjabi, Kannada, and Telugu. He also loves to explore. Apart from exploring light, he also explores when he hikes, and explores the beautiful nature that is there in US and around the world. And that is how he brings us his beautiful images. And I think ever since I have, personally speaking, I got to know him, let me be honest. And I say this that this lockdown, COVID, they say that everything has a silver lining. Every bad thing that happens has a silver lining. Every dark cloud has a silver lining. And I think COVID-19 situation has brought a silver lining, especially for me as an individual and exploring light as an entity, where we have come across such wonderful photographers whom you have already seen, and few who are sitting here. So though I already knew Prakash, I already knew Sandeep, I in a way had heard about Himadri. We were not friends, but I had heard about Himadri. But honestly, I had no clue about two wonderful gentlemen and photographers here, ATANU and Som. And I think thanks to the situation that we are now connected, and these people are instrumental in bringing the Xtra Bytes session to this level today. So welcome, ATANU. I will not say thanks for accepting the invite. And I will only say that thanks for kind of, in a way, completing the circle from Bankura to US to Zoom at Xploring Light.
And it was forced on him coming first.
So, so the first thing that I would like to ask is that uh, how did you get into? Did Bankura and your stay in India, is that is where you started photography? Because Bengal, West Bengal and Kolkata, that side is, you lift a brick and you will see 10 photographers come out, and they are wonderful. It's like the art somehow thrives there. It is in the blood. It's in the soul of everybody who gets born. And I will not be surprised that tomorrow we see a newborn बच्चा पैदा हुआ है कैमरा लेके, कौन सा कैमरा लेके पैदा हुआ है?
Definitely.
They will be branded. So we would like to know about that.
Sure. Just first of all, thank you, and thanks for the whole Xploring Lights team, and this is a wonderful team, and this has been the this has been the best thing that happened in lockdown for me. Of course, besides that I have kept my job, but this has been the by far the kind of best thing that has happened to me in the lockdown. That I have got to know you, you guys all, and I am lucky to be kind of partnering with you guys. Such an amazing company that that gives me this kind of platform and all this stuff. So there is no doubt about that, and I'm really kind of grateful to have you as beside me, supporting me. Many steps that I have seen before. You have supported me in all the steps. So first of all, I want to convey my thanks to that. And yeah, definitely, Jesse ji. So about that stuff, about my influence for my village or Bengal. My village, I would say not so. So when I was growing up, in my village, nobody cared about photography back then. Even now, nobody cared about photography, because that's people thinks about surviving there, not kind of thinking of taking photos. People thinks of getting a job, daily job. As long as they can get a job, it's just more than enough for them. And that was for me as well. When I was kind of growing up, the main concern was to get a job and then just kind of make me establish just to make sure that I at least stand on my own feet and not depend on whatever, not get into the unemployment situations and all. So that was the first priority, obviously. And even after I got my job, my first concern was that how to kind of make my family kind of in a better positions. Photography come a bit later. Yes, I bought a camera for sure. I bought a camera of my Nikon. It was a Canon PowerShot, I think. And that actually, when I bought the camera, I got the interest by looking at the digital camera and the science of it, like how the optics works, how the aperture works, and how the shutter speed works, the sensitivity of the the sensitivity of the CMOS sensor. It was, I think, CCD sensor back then with the Canon PowerShot camera. I had a friend actually in Kolkata who is not a photographer, but he actually kind of told me that photography is nothing but tricks, and it was his idea, it was his opinion back then, right? Photography is nothing but tricks. You increase aperture, the more light comes. You decrease aperture, less light comes. So it's all but tricks. It was his opinion, and and I think that actually kind of helped me so that how light is controlled by simple machine, and he actually helped me so that how infrared kind of can be controlled. He has a camera which was infrared sensitive, very even back then. So he showed me that how it looks in infrared, how it looks if you increase aperture and all those stuff. That actually really got me intrigued. Oh, that's nice. I thought that, and when I went to my village, actually, after I bought the camera in 2006, and after exploring the aperture and all, I was exploring different kind of stuffs in my village, and let me actually that actually of course that actually helped my imagination, that how the beauty of my village, that open fields, cats, dogs, how these kind of things can be taken from different angle. I was exploring with different angles, so definitely they have a influence for sure. Let me actually I have some a PowerPoint, I guess, which I can show that what I was doing back then.
Do
Should I
you have a
start?
70 mm screen installed in front of you?
I have two screens. I have two screens installed in front of me. Yeah, I think right now it's visible for some reason. The thing is that what I think is happening is that if I go to next screen, the sharing is not being enabled. Okay. I don't think it's going to next screen for any reason. Anyway.
You
So
can,
yeah.
you can click on, you can try clicking on the slide. Probably then it will work. Probably. I'm not sure, but you can try at least once.
Okay. Anyway, I think this one also kind of looks not bad.
Anyway,
So,
it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what was last. What was my first picture actually that I took with my camera, and a cat. That was my house cat back then in my village. So that was my first picture I took with my digital camera. I bought the camera from Kolkata. I went back, and that was my first picture. So these cats, these fields, and this got me really kind of intrigued. This is a wheat field in my village. So how the sunlight is interacting with the wheat fields, how it's looking like from the low angle. That's what was kind of making me intrigued. When I was in my village, I tried even my hands with taking some sunset photos with the same camera, and just thinking like how it looked like in sunset and all. Then back then in 2006, I tried to do a little bit of Photoshop, by the way. So I turned the day shot into a night shot, thinking that it looks cool. It looks blue and all, and looks like a moonrise and all the stuff. So I was trying those kind of stuffs in my village. That's how I was kind of exploring different kind of stuffs. And they were kind of, yeah, they in a way they helped me. The open fields and everything, they in a way they helped me to kind of shape my photography, definitely. But if I would say that I was not at all thinking that I would be kind of really taking photography very seriously back then. Definitely, that was not the thought. The main, I think, things started a little bit later. The main photography, when I kind of thought that I will take photography a little bit seriously, it started a little bit later. And I often kind of compare everybody's photography journey. Well, mostly it's true for me, and it would be a little bit more generalization if I say that it's for everybody. I often compare the journey with the evolution of human civilizations, like how human civilizations evolves. It evolves smoothly, but then there are certain steps when it seems like that human civilization get a step ahead, and then it's really a step forward. It's really a milestone. Like if you think about invention of fire, human civilization was going smoothly, but invention of fire, it pushed the civilizations a lot by at just one go. And then invention of wheel, right? Invention of wheel actually pushed the civilizations by 100 years. If that has not been the case, it would still be like going very slowly. So, and then invention of agriculture, right? Invention of agriculture pushed the civilizations a lot. So those kind of stuff happen, those kind of steps happen to which actually pushed the evolutions by far at one go. And that happened for me too. For my photographic journey too. And I'm not a big photographer, I should not call that out my photographic journey, but anyway, it is whatever it is, my photographic journey, evolutions, or whatever I am today. But that first step, the first stepping stone came with my first purchase of DSLR, which is D5000. And when I first came to Toronto, Canada in 2009, well, for second time, I bought my first DSLR D5000. And because I was thinking that I was trying to take many photos with my small digital camera, but I was not able to, because that did not have a manual control. I was not able to control the aperture or the shutter speed manually. I had to kind of focus towards the sky if I wanted really small shutter speed, like really slow, really fast shutter speed. You know, if you focus towards sky, it's a bright sky, so the auto would actually reduce the shutter speed a lot. So you focus to the sky, and then you take some photo, you know, to ground, and it will be really like fast shutter speed. So that was the trick that I was using back then. But then I bought a DSLR, and then I started to control. And this was one of my first ever picture that I took with a DSLR. It was taken from a McDonald's cafe and all. And I have not gone back to Calcutta yet because I really came to Toronto, Canada first, and then I bought my DSLR. And then I actually went back to Calcutta, which actually shaped my photography later. So these were just like, you know, some of the picture, Niagara Falls, and, you know, some kind of long exposure photography that I was trying with Diwali, writing my names and everything. And there was one more friend and like who was showing me how you can write names with the, you know, with Tarabati, with Fuljari, you know, when with long shutter speed and all. And I was taking pictures of CN towers, everything. But then something happened. Then I actually went back to India in 2010, January. And there I came in contact with the big photography community of Kolkata. Kolkata has always had a big photography community, and you know there are lots of people. There is a club called KPC, Kolkata Photographers Club, which I give a shout out. So I got into the club and I got to know many amazing people who had actually, you know, many years of experience already by then, and they were established photographer. They were kind of helping all the newcomers and, you know, and teaching them how to take photos and how you can, you know, make your photography better. They were actually kind of arranging, you know, meetups, arranging picnics. So I was kind of going with them and taking many photos back then. You know, I was going to Victoria. I was going to, this is a famous place called Prinsep Ghat in Calcutta. I was trying HDRs and everything. And, you know, I was trying all sorts of stuff. And of course, any Bengali, any people who has evolved from Calcutta in photography probably has gone to Varanasi. That's the ante. Like everyone has to go to Varanasi at least for once. So that's what happened. Like, you know, I was kind of trying to, you know, after shooting some stuff, I went to Varanasi. And this is my Varanasi days. So I went to Varanasi a couple of times. I was taking some pictures because basically I was trying to do some streets, because that was one of the main genre that was prominent in Calcutta back then, and which is streets. So I was taking lots of photographs from streets and all, and Calcutta streets especially, and Varanasi streets too. So I was trying different kind of stuff. There's a place in Calcutta called Kumartuli. Kumartuli evokes the imaginations of thousands of photographers in Calcutta. And it's a place where, you know, where the Durga idols are basically built during Durga Puja or before Durga Puja. So if you go there, you know, you can see, you know, amazing stuff happens, you know, like sculpture, Durga sculpture is being built and all. So that is a amazing place, and that actually filled my imagination a lot, like all other photographers. So I went there as well. And, you know, there are different kind of stuff that I was trying. And this is I even tried a star trail in India. It was taken at Tajpur, by the way. So Tajpur was an amazing place, and we went in a picnic from KPC, and that was one of the photograph that we took in, you know, Tajpur. It was nice. Yeah, that's how my journey Calcutta kind of shaped my journey. Calcutta and Bengal kind of shaped my journey as a photographer. But I still did not focus on landscape. Focus on landscape come much later. I was still focusing on streets and, you know, and all the other stuffs, many sorts of stuff that I can do except landscape. Yes,Iji.
What happened?
So yeah, no, I took a pause because you asked that, you know, how was the journey from Calcutta? So that was my journey from Calcutta. Oh, that's like how Calcutta and my village inspired me to.
But and during all these days, did you ever think or a thought came to your mind that you will do photography seriously, you will take photography seriously, or
No.
it was still just any other kind of exploration that you were doing?
No, yeah, it did not. It did not came to my mind seriously that, I would really take photography serious, really as a, I would pursue this as seriously and all. It actually came much later. Thinking about photography, like, like talking about landscape photography and all, they actually came much later when I came to, of course, Canada first. But even after Canada, I didn't realize that, I should actually pursue it seriously. I should, invest more time. I should invest more on gears and all. It didn't talk to me. It was still kind of, casual stuff. I was trying to take better pictures for sure. I was getting inspired with peoples and all, but that was still just kind of, okay, fine. If I get some time, I will do it. If I don't get time, I will not do it. And currently is the other way around. If I get some time outside photography, I will do other stuffs. If I don't get time, well, forget it. It's only photography. But that's not the case. But yeah, I mean, kind of like that. Yeah, and if you want me to continue, then basically I see that after spending a couple of years in Kolkata from 2010 to 2012, I actually came back to Toronto, and I started taking pictures of Toronto streets because I was more influenced by street photographers in Kolkata, and I was taking Toronto streets, and I have published one of the albums earlier, and then how Toronto streets was also kind of, it's a very colorful place to take different kind of photos. And I had a beautiful rooftop back then, and that rooftop and even a balcony, and those rooftops and balconies was like, they offered great vistas spanning across the southern Toronto and the northern Toronto. So I was trying to take nice pictures from my rooftop and balcony as well, and it often showed me the beautiful cloud formations, because each summer around July, August, this time in Toronto, there is afternoon showers, and the afternoon showers turns the sky into very colorful canvas. Almost every 2-3 days, the sky in Toronto turns like golden, red, or yellow, different kind of colors around afternoon this time of the year. So I was taking those kind of shots in Toronto, and also there was one more step up at that point of time. I was mentioning about steps, right? Steps or different kind of pushback when your photographic games goes up by a margin, right? And back then I got to know one of my very good friend called Saptashwa, and he was he came to Toronto back at that point of time too, and I got to know him. Before that, my processing was kind of all like shadow highlights, increased brightness, contrast. I came to know about layers and all earlier, but I was really not sure that how I should kind of edit a photograph or how I should process a photograph. I had no idea that there should be a workflow. That friend actually kind of taught me that how would there be a workflow. We were kind of living nearby, and then he showed me that how to use layers and how to use curves, and how those are the like essential tools and all, and like how to do raw processings and all those stuffs. So I got to know the stuffs, and I really kind of fell into a workflow, and I was starting to get more serious about photography. That okay, fine, now I know how to kind of get my stuffs done. I was still kind of seeing amazing photographers around the world, and I was still kind of had no idea how these things, how they kind of take these photographs, how they process it. But it helped me a lot in terms of knowing how to kind of establish your workflow, how to do adjust layers, curves, sharpness, and all those stuffs. And of course, after that, with that friend itself, with Saptashwa itself, we started to explore the landscapes around Canada and Toronto a bit more. And I was really fascinated by its night sky. Particularly, I was really fascinated by its night sky. And I started doing, I thought about that, hey, I did Star Trail long back and I did not do for long. Why shouldn't I try it again? So, and Canada is famous for its own dark sky and all. So I actually went to couple of places in backcountry, Canada backcountry, or backcountry trails, and I hiked with my wife. This is the place which I hiked with my wife, and this is a scary story for me and my wife both. and we hiked there, and I took a start trail. And this was, at this point of time, I know how to take a start trail, like not to take, only single exposure, merge multiple exposures of stars, take exposure for foreground, and there was thunderstorm going on, at far. So yeah, this was one of my first night sky that I liked, from 2013. So this one, and then I started exploring camping as well. I was a camping freak back then. Even now I'm a camping freak. So we were kind of all camping together, and this was one of my first Milky Way shots that I took there. Actually, that's my first ever Milky Way shot that I took. So yeah, I was really interested by the night sky of Toronto because it was really nice. And then something happened. Me and my wife decided to explore Rockies. So we flew to Rockies, Canadian Rockies, and Canadian Rockies, of course, it's a different ballgame altogether. It's different place altogether, and it really evoked my imagination that okay, now I should really take serious about landscapes. So when we were exploring Canadian Rockies, I was just saying my wife, imagine that we got so many, we got to see so many beautiful places. Now just imagine that we see the aurora at this place. How amazing that it could be. My wife was saying that, yeah, that would be really amazing, but I don't think that's going to happen in this trip. And then I said, okay, let me try my camera. I think that I see some faint glow over there. It might be light pollution, but let me try my camera. So I put my camera there, and bingo, it was aurora. So it's like we wished for aurora, and it was there the next moment. And I was saying that this is really unreal. Like I just wished for that there could be aurora, and there is aurora. So let there be aurora, and then I got it. So that was really like an unreal moment for us, and that's why this photograph is, it has bad quality, but it was like it's kind of really kind of memorable for us, that we did not know that there would be aurora. We were just spending the night, and we love to spend the nights in kind of like odd kind of places, not in camp grounds or not in hotels, but in parking lots or in top of a viewpoint and something like that. So we were spending the night in there, and we were wishing things, and aurora visited us. We're really surprised that it happened to us. And then of course we explored some more Milky Way in Rockies, and I did not know how to control noise, how to control foreground, how to take different kind of exposures. But hey, this is how I evolved, and I really remembered or cherished taking these photographs. Of course, I took Star Trail because Star Trail was one of my favorite things back then. Of course, I did take a Star Trail and more Milky Way. Night sky was kind of one of my thing back then. Like I was doing pretty much only night sky and nothing else. Very few sunset or sunrise, but mainly night sky and Star Trail. So at this point of time, I already kind of mastered like the layers, at least how to kind of work with the layers, and at least know some stuff about raw processing, and how to merge photos, how to merge multiple exposures, how to blend Star Trail images, how to blend foreground and all those stuffs. So then at this point of time, I was also kind of doing different kind of photography. I was doing events as well. I once covered an event from my office. They invited me, hey, you take some nice photos. Why don't you cover some events? So I was doing that. But then I became picky. I said that, no, I'm not doing anything else because I'm not good at anything else, to be honest. I'm not good at portrait. I'm not good at anything. I'm not good at landscape as well. Well, it doesn't mean that I'm good at landscape, but that's not the point. Point was that I became very picky about that at that point of time, that, okay, now I will do only landscape. And I was searching that, how to edit photos better. And Google search showed me that there is something called luminosity mask. Well, some friend mentioned to me as well, but that's pretty much it. Oh, you should use luminosity mask. I don't know what it is and all. I searched in Google and I saw that entire video series I bought the video series actually from Tony Caper and Sim Baxo. I understood that, what is luminosity mask, how it affects the masking process and all. And then I started editing photos with luminosity masks. And again, these are photos from Rockies, from my first trip. And as I mentioned, like my first trip of Rockies is a turning point where I came to know that, yes, I should really stick to landscape and I should really do landscape, nothing else. So these are some of the pictures back from 2013. what I was taking and what I was kind of, capturing, all from 2013 and 2014. That, I was trying different stuffs, saying that let me try some photos or editing, try some photos from, Rockies with luminosity mask. These are the Rockies photos. This is also Rockies. And this is a place called Bruce Peninsula. I have been there, 30 times by now, and it's still one of my very special place in Canada. And this is Smokies, and I started editing waterfalls as well from Smokies. But yeah, all of them has been done by the same workflow. Open the image, do the raw adjustment, edit the image with luminosity masks, and then go on. So that was one of my journeys, and how I kind of turned into landscape very clearly. I did not put the rest of the images here. I will go to the images later. But
so
yeah.
A question here, Atanu. When you started using luminosity masks, what was the purpose? Was it to merge images? Was it to selectively edit the images? What were you really, what was the goal?
Yeah, so I felt that back then it was like really hard to control the shadow and highlight. So I was taking pictures. I was not very kind of aware that how to kind of control the highlights and how to kind of put there enough details in the shadow. So basically how to increase the dynamic range of the images. So that was one of my main concerns. I was trying to do with shadow highlights, but it was not working out. I tried to do it using selective masks, but select the sky, decrease the exposure. But even that was not kind of yielding, very good results. So I was searching for how to increase the dynamic range, or how to control the shadows and highlights effectively without kind of losing details and without kind of making it looks like, it's HDR. By then I already hate HDR in 2013. So that's what I was trying to explore. And I stumbled upon the luminosity masks, and that gave me an idea that how you can actually control the highlights, how you can control the shadows, and how you can actually merge even different exposures as well by hand blending techniques and all those stuff. And that was really helpful for the luminosity mask. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of one of my after that, I kept all my images. I consider all my images that keepsake. Before that, it was all for, I felt that, they're not kind of I don't consider any of my works before 2014 to be considered as like really kind of a work. It was kind of still a learning. But right now I consider that there are some pictures probably I can find from 2015, which I can still keep as okay, I did that good. I did that editing good. It was not too bad of a picture. I don't have to kind of redo that edit again. But before that, it was all like, it was really like, I feel that I really needed to learn something. And something happened after 2016 as well. After 2016, in 2016 itself, I think I met Arpan, and that actually gave me another step up, that his processing style and all, and influenced me a lot. And, I learned a lot. And that was another step up of the game where I kind of, okay, I think, okay, that is a like big push forward. And it changed my whole processing again. And so that was one more step. And the next step came in 2019 when I went into at the workshop of Mark Adamus. That actually gave me another push. Okay, here is another step forward for you. Now you can try to processing or taking pictures in different way. So I don't know how different I am. That people will judge, from my past. But I feel a difference in my outlook and all. And of course,
what was your takeaway from attending a workshop with somebody like Mark Adamus?
The first thing that I noticed about Adamus is that how energetic he is. Like he talks a lot, and he makes sure that you learn. So we were taking like lots of photographs, and some people were sitting at tripod slowly, and it was a sunset scene unfolding in front of us. Some people were kind of unfolding tripods, and Adamus said that, what are you doing with tripod? This is a bright daylight. Take some pictures with your hand. Like, the sun is going down behind the mountain. Take some shots. There's no wind. It's a fixed, it's a still day. Why are you working on tripod? You were limited by your angles, right? And I was not carrying tripod. I was happy. Oh, that means I am doing something right. That's good. So yeah, I mean, one of the big takeaways is that at least I learned that, and people still disagrees with me, and people has different shooting style, and that's completely fine. That, you don't need your tripod all the time. It blocks it blocks your angles, that, limits your angles, how you can go down or how you can move around. And, and I was doing focus stack as well. And, Adam was saying that you don't need focus stacks in this one, but if you want to do, you probably should use tripod. You can do handheld as well. And look at me. And he was, of course, he's a different ball game. And he is like looking at me, and he was holding his camera like tick, 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 tick. See, focus stack, done. And it's D850, right? So those were kind of takeaway that, that it bolstered my idea that, you don't need tripod all the time. It bolstered a little bit too much right now, because right now I don't even use tripod whenever my hand is shaking, and that it's a problem, but that's a different story. I probably should use tripod a little bit more. And I have that knack of not using tripod every time, and that sometimes creates a problem, and I end up with shaky images. But yeah, that was one of the big takeaway. And then, he taught us about visions, how we can visualize and scene with transitions, like, with transition from shadow to highlight to bright to big, to big rocks, big foreground cracks, to smaller rocks to mountain, and then how we can transition from, from shadow to highlights, all those stuff. So they were like really a kind of nice takeaway from in terms of compositions and all, in terms of processings and everything. So, he showed us how to do processings and all, and that was really cool.
So Atanu, if I understand it right, till now what you are saying is that you had 3 different kind of awakenings that happened in your life. That one was the Canadian Rockies trip that you went with your wife. That is when you suddenly realized that you have to probably start taking it a little more seriously. Second was meeting Arpan, and the third was the workshop that you attended there. Now, so we all know that everybody who stays on his course trying to do something eventually finds some milestones in his journey. But my question here is that most people try, and it might be a little controversial as well, but I'm serious about this question because this is very close to my heart, and I would like to know the opinion of everybody, that how important it is to attend a workshop, either in your formative years or even after you have established. Because I come across many people who are ready to do everything but attend a workshop, and that is where this kind of discontent and the disagreement between me and that individual starts. So I would like to understand your take on that.
Definitely, yeah, that's a very important point, SCG. So first thing I would like to say that there has been one more milestone, and which I was coming later, which is that meeting the Xploring Lights team, and that is my latest milestone. And meeting this Xploring Lights team and getting to know altogether, all of you, and getting the chance to interview all these great photographers like Alex, Ryan, Sasank, Sapna, and Erin, everyone who has come to Xploring Lights team. That was one of my big awakening, like recently as well. It taught me that how to kind of see things differently. So I was coming later, and I was reserving for later. But yeah, about workshops, coming back to workshops, I would say that doesn't matter about the experience. I believe that workshops actually helps every people a lot, because, and I like the answers that which Sasank provided, in our sessions, and I completely echo that sentiment that when you are in a workshop, you put yourself in the position of student, and you are really kind of open-minded, and you are open to take everything that they had to teach. And that I think is really, really important. And I believe that, it is extremely important to attend workshops for any kind of experienced people. Even in Adam's workshop, there was a guy from East Coast, and his name is Benjamin Williamson, and he's an amazing photographer, and big shout out to him as well. But that guy is an amazing photographer, and he runs his own workshop, and he has his own team in East Coast. But he attended Adam's workshop to learn a couple of things. First of all, of course, for his photography game and all, and to learn how to run a workshop. from ATANU's. So there is something to learn from, I feel that there is something to learn from everybody, but even though that's that's a generic statement, I feel that workshop helps a lot to all the peoples. And the general aversion comes from the fact that, it costs money and all, but I believe that this is the most I think, worthwhile investment that you can make in photography, that is to attend workshops. And, you can find your own leader, you can find your own workshop leader according to your own style. And the style that you suit, and I would of course have my personal choice that whose workshop I will attend. And now I am used with Mark. It's very difficult for me to get other, but yeah, it's definitely kind of makes sense to attend workshop of the people that you admire. And it's if people are listening to this, I would highly recommend, not because I am associated with Xploring Lights team, but even before I was associated with Xploring Lights team, I actually, mentioned that how vital it was for me when I came back from Mark's workshop. I was really hesitant to go there. That I was thinking, oh, what he will teach me? He doesn't have anything to teach me, right? He will probably take me to some locations and then, oh, here, take that, and take that photograph, and that's pretty much it. It's not like that. He really kind of told us his vision, that how he kind of thinks about art. And being a photographer like him, I think that it's really kind of influenced me, that how and that how the thought process of a landscape photographer goes on, and how to interpret a scene in his own way, and how you do explore, how you do check weather and all those stuff. There's a lot to learn in a workshop, and that's why I'm going back again in Mark's workshop. It's not my last workshop. I was scheduled to go to Patagonia this year, which didn't happen due to COVID, and it's rescheduled to next year. So it costs lots of money, but if you can afford a camera gear, which is costing, if you are upgrading your camera gear is 2-3 years, that means you can afford a workshop too. And I believe that even it's more important than upgrading your camera gear in each 2-3 years. I think it's completely worth it. For me, at least, that's my opinion.
Fantastic answer. Thank you, Atanu. I think let's move ahead. There's one question that I think everybody would want to know, so that we can decide how to behave on YouTube. Is your wife watching?
My wife is watching or not. I asked her to join, but you can ask the questions. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool with all the stuff.
All right.
So you can ask me anything.
Just give up on you, Atanu. That's the truth.
Actually, Arpan is asking something. Just say you take it up.
You ask. What is it?
Go ahead, Prakash.
He is asking, talk about your wife.
Oh, my wife. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, probably, and Arpan is a good reminder probably that I should talk about my wife. Watching. So basically, I think, and
happy him being called the landmark moment. So we are hoping that your wife is not watching. We are just hoping.
Watch. So I mentioned her, mildly, during my first art image, I went with backpacking with her. But one of my great support has been my wife, and it is not to please her or something. I'm not saying that she's really said that, oh, you have to be a landscape photographer. That's not the case. But she has been always been very supportive of me. That whenever I tried to whenever I tried to go in a trip, like backpacking. In fact, she was my sole backpacking partner whenever I was in Toronto, and when I was exploring the whole Canadian Rockies and everything. I went to backpacking to Assiniboine, and she was my sole partner. So she's my backpacking partner, in fact, to all those crazy places that I go. She went with me to Titcombe Basin, and Titcombe Basin is a hike which is 30 kilometers, and it's very steep, extremely steep. It's extremely difficult for me, and for her it was easier, surprisingly. But yeah, she went with me. She went with me in that hike. We camped there for 4 days, and in a place where we survived a thunderstorm at night, and we were really scared. We were really kind of, I am not that God believing, but I brought out my sacred thread, and then I started, God save me, because I was really I could really see my own death that day. We were both in a tent, me and my wife, in a valley, and there was thunderstorm going on all around us, and I could count like 200 lightnings in a span of like 1 hour. And we woke up and we were like, holding each other, and thinking that that was the last moment. I was praying to God that God save us. This is my last ask. I don't want any good photograph from you. My prayer was that good photograph from out of this trip before I started. But back then, I thought that I don't want any good photograph. Just save me on this in this time, and that's pretty much it. I want everything. And yeah, so she accompanied me with all the crazy trips that I did, and many crazy trips. She accompanied to me with Iceland, accompanied to me to Iceland, and we spent 15 days in car, not even taking a single day in a hotel, or 20 days in a car. So we drove like crazy. We drove like 4,000 to 3,000, 4,000 kilometers in Iceland in 20 days. So we slept in car, we soaked in rain, and she is my adventure partner. So it will be incomplete, without mentioning her and without mentioning her support from my photography. Of course, she keeps a check on me so that I don't spend my entire life savings on camera gear, and that's, I think, necessary. But I think that's required. So yeah, she supported me in Adamas's workshop as well. When I asked for that, I'm going in Adamas's workshop, and it cost $2,000, and it was really kind of costly thing for me back then. He said that, yeah, go ahead, and that's fine. And yeah, and even costlier workshops. The next workshop that I am going, I'm not even mentioning the price, because I'm ashamed to mention the price of the next workshop at Patagonia. But yeah, she supported me in that too. So yeah, I mean, it would be wrong not to mention her role in every step. And even when our child was born, even after that, she allowed me to go on trip. I'm not saying that after our child was born like 1 hour later, but after our child was born, after 6 months later, or 3 months later, she allowed to go me on trip, and we all kind of went on trip together. When my child was, I think, 4 months, I took a flying trip, and we flew to Western US, and then we traveled the whole Western US with me, she, and our 3 months old child.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's inspiring. That's something.
So she has a very important role to play.
Yeah.
In my journey.
Yeah, I think let's move ahead. We will continue having fun, and these guys are really kind of.
Bring it on. I would probably.
It's like an explosion right now, the YouTube chat.
One more question. I think Arpan brought it up again because he's privy to all your secrets somehow. And
yeah.
And Mainak also supported that. You have a habit of sleeping in the car?
I do have a habit of sleeping in the car. Yes. So I whenever I drive, and I get a lot of flack from my wife for that, and for right reason, not for wrong reason. But yeah. So basically, I do have a habit of feeling sleepy when I'm driving, especially when I'm driving alone. If I don't have anyone to talk to, I kind of feel really sleepy. And both me and my wife, when we do drive, we talk a lot sometimes. Sometimes we get bored, and our drive consists of it's like 12 hours drive, 8 hours drive. It's not like 2-3 hours drive. So you cannot talk to somebody continuously for 12 hours, right? So at some point of time, we have to stop. So after talking 4-5 hours, we do stop, and then we feel sleepy. So, what we usually do, we park in a parking lot, or any kind of McDonald's parking lot, or any kind of beside, and then we take a nap. Just rolling back the chair, car seat, and then we take a nap. Both me and my wife, we do take a nap usually. And that's what we do. And in our last meeting, I think that happened that, we were kind of in a video conferencing with these guys, and I was feeling really sleepy. And I just parked my car, and then video conferencing is going on, and I just fell asleep because I was so tired, I could not control. I said that you guys continue. I will just take a nap.
I hope you're not going to sleep in today's hike.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not. That is true only for car. So if I'm in a car, then I will feel asleep for sure. I mean, I have discovered a term for that, and the term is called carcolepsy. And that it means that whenever you step on a car, you feel sleepy. So it's called carcolepsy. And yeah, and it's only because it's also had to do with the fact that we do actually sleep in the car a lot, like not even when we're feeling sleepy, but both of us, like me and my wife, we actually sleep in the back of the car a lot of times, like 90% of the time when you go out, we sleep in the back of the car. So it gives us a sense that, okay, now we're in the car, now it's time to sleep. I think that's also one of the reasons why I feel so sleepy when I step in the car.
Fantastic. Again, let's move ahead. We need to immerse ourselves into images.
Okay. So yeah, I have some of the images lined up here. And I would share. So I'm sharing my screen again. This is one of my favorite images from Canadian Rockies, and this was my first trip with Arpan, and I consider one of the milestone images of me. Not probably I can edit it in a different way in today's time, but why I'm saying that it's a milestone, because this was the first time I came to know about Arpan's shooting style, his editing style, and I was mentioning that a step forward, right? So that was one of the cases, and that's why I mentioned it's as a milestone image. And there was a couple of reasons to remember this image too. And it was a frigid cold day. It was minus 35, showing in the car dashboard, and a fierce wind was going on. And with the wind chill, it was definitely like feeling like minus 50 or something like that. So we were there, and this is one of our friend, Suham. So we were there sitting in the ice, and Suham's fingers almost got frostbite from standing in the cold. So he ran towards the car and saying that my hand is kind of, it's hurting a lot. I think I'm getting frostbite. And he screaming for half an hour with holding his fingers and all. And Arpan, he was taking pictures with bare hand, no gloves. I said, "Are you guys crazy?" He said, "No, I am fine, and I don't feel anything." And for me, my ass got froze because I was sitting on the ice, and Arpan's tripod froze, by the way. And that's one thing to remember. His tripod, his Benro tripod, I think it got froze, and it never got unfroze later. So I think it got somehow like cold welded or something. It tried pouring hot water, bringing after coming to home, it tried pushing it hard. It tried breaking down, but it didn't happen. It is just sealed. So his tripod head didn't come off from his tripod anymore again after that trip. It got cold welded. So he lost his tripod in the cold. I mean, that's the only one instance that I have heard from people. I have heard from people that cameras goes down in cold, but in his case it was the tripod which actually not broke down but got locked. The tripod it got locked permanently. And of course, there was one more crazy story is that I forgot my driving license has been expired in that trip, so we had to hire Swam. But anyway, and snow and ice are something that I'm really kind of interested of. And this was from our trip in Yukon. It was also a frigid cold morning, and it's a national park called Fluent National Park. Also one of my most, one of the favorite shots. Again, I would probably process them differently again, given today's time. But I like the output when it came back then. This is the Alaska trip picture, and one of the most memorable trip with my wife. And we had a third wheel, and we had a third wheel with our, named our friend Pritam, and he is a very good friend of us, and he gave us a, lovely company. And this trip, me and my wife and my kid, we all went to Alaska. So my kid was, I think, about a year old, about 10 months old, and we flew to Alaska with my first kid, rented an RV, and we drove the RV all around Alaska doing a road trip. This was in one of the cold road trip in Alaska, and we were just having dinner there in the RV, and then we saw it's like really nice fog in the foreground, and there is a like mountains and all, and there's a bird and also okay, fine. We had a big telephoto lens. I said, okay, I'll take a picture. Unmistakable Lofoten, again with my wife trip. So we went to Lofoten with 2 kids this time in the winter, or late fall, I would say, and got some nice lights. And this was edited recently after I came to exploring lights even. So I think that exploring lights effect is already showing up, that how to edit, how to process photos. I think this was even processed after Sandeep processed his photos of Lofoten. I think after that, after watching that tutorial, I processed this photo.
Oh, I'm in love with.
Sorry.
Beautiful image.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This was one of the most memorable winter camping trip that has ever happened. And again, it was with 3 amazing photographers. One of them is Arpan, and other of them is a photographer called Tristan Todd. He is a Vancouver-based photographer, British Columbia. We flew to this Tombstone National Park. Usually there is workshops, arranged for this place, from Adamas and everyone. But we thought that we would give it a try to go on our own. And of course, the extreme cold winter got really owned us. So we faced a snowstorm and blizzard and everything. And I think this is just after clearing the blizzard for I think 2 hours. And again, it started blizzard and snowstorm again in the winter. So it was really cold, and we camped there for 7 days in ice. That helicopter dropped us in the middle of nowhere, and it picked us up after 7 days when the camping was over. And at the end of the 7 days or 8th day, I was saying that I can't wait to go home. I need a shower because only thing that I need is shower. So, and we were playing. So basically, this trip was memorable not because the photographs that I took, but because of the experience and all these blizzards and everything. We didn't have to do anything. We didn't have anything to do other than getting locked into our own tents. So what can we do? We don't have anything to do, anything else to do, right? So only thing that we can do is play cards. I carried a deck of cards. So me, Arpan, and Subham, we were passing time, 24 hours a day playing cards. Playing cards, get up in morning, get some foods, play cards, get the lunch, play cards, get dinner, sleep. Wake up next morning, have the breakfast, play cards, have lunch, play cards, and then go to, because there was nothing else to do. There was absolute blizzard going on for 3-4 days. Well, we explored a couple of places, nearby for next 3-4 days, or for 3-4 days before that, but that was pretty much it. And it was one of the time when the blizzard was clear. And I think playing cards is a hobby that everyone should learn to pass time when they are stuck in blizzard. Essential.
Now I've heard that somebody is created a kind of fundraiser for making photography oriented playing cards. So I think I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, we should make I think we should publish or make a playing card deck with all of our amazing pictures. That would be a nice idea, actually. I thought about I should probably print a card with my pictures on them, in the portrait modes and everything. That would be a nice idea.
Yeah.
We were 3 people. That was the problem. We were 3 people, so we could not play like Colbray or 29. We had to stick with fish. That was the only thing that we could play. Because Tristan doesn't play card and all, so okay. And
you could have taught him.
Sorry?
You could have taught him. You had all the time in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we could have, but then, he said, oh, no, man, I'm good. There's 3 Desi guys, which is kind of talking in their own language. I don't want to be the only person to be there and then spoil your fun. Take care. He's a very nice guy, by the way. And he was, and the amazing thing is that even in the blizzard, he managed to took some great shots while we are kind of playing card. That's, I think, really something to learn. We know that later.
Love this image. I love the colors.
I love this image. The kind of layering that you have done, the color palette.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Very, very different. This is you can proudly call it yours until I put my signature on that.
Thank you.
Send us the raw.
Sure, I will send the raw. This was one of the photograph like I was exploring at that point of time. I think it was process even after I joined Exploring Lights, and so this was at this point of time, I was kind of exploring the works of Benjamin. There's a photographer called Benjamin. And his name is Benjamin Everett. So I knew about his works even before, but and even Mark admired his work a lot. And it's probably photo art, but whatever he does, it's beautiful. So I was getting influenced by his work, and then okay, fine, I will probably try this editing on his styles. And this is to show that how everybody's style that you watch on internet or everywhere, it influences you. And I believe that everybody that come to your life and influence you a lot by their own styles, even by the lifestyles, and photography is just one part of them, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you spend some time, you are sharing time with him, you are sharing his ideas. Essentially, you are sharing a part of your life, and you are sharing a part of your philosophy with him. So you get influenced by each other. Like I got influenced by you guys a lot, and I got influenced by style of processing style of Prakash, and I have one photos that I will attribute to Prakash's processing style later as well, and I will show that. I'll come to that too. This is also, and both these photos are taken in Adamas's workshop.
Tell me one thing: are these unpublished photos? Because I haven't seen them earlier.
No, they're published. They're published. Yeah, they're published a bit while.
Yeah,
ago.
you need to repost them. Huh? These are amazing shots.
I think so. I need to repost them. So these three photos back to back, I am showing that, and are all taken from Adamas's workshop. This is just to show that how kind of a person influence, or how a good teacher can influence your photography. And he influenced us a lot in terms of visualizing a scene. And these are just examples of how it happened.
It's just incredible. Just amazing.
And this is a place called Zabriskie Point, and from here we were watching that a storm is passing over Death Valley, and Adamas we were driving along a single convoy to a different place, and then Adamas told that turn your car, go back to Zabriskie Point. There's a viewpoint top above, and you would get a really nice view of the storm coming up. So you all turned up the car, and dropped our plan wherever we are going, drove up to Zabriskie Point, and we got this scene. And luckily, we also met Alex Noriega and TJ Throne there as well. But yeah, that was an amazing moment to witness this unfold whole thing. And this is taken here in Oregon, Eastern Oregon, one of the wildest places in United States, probably. I was driving with my wife and all, and this thing caught me. And I would put some facts over here. This is not a photograph. This is a photo art. And why I'm saying photo art? None of this were there. This rainbow was not there. These cloud movements were not there. There was just a simple plain field and a tree, nothing else. So I put the rainbow over there. I put the cloud movement over there. And I consider it one of my editing works, not my best works in kind of taking photograph. But people who know me, they already know that I do kind of lots of editing by now, and I declare them whenever I do them. I don't kind of hide them that this is an original photograph, something like that.
But then coming to that, Atanu, I'd like to add that this is totally possible given the right circumstances or the right time.
Possible.
This is totally possible.
Yeah.
It's
totally
not
possible.
like you have put the sun or the moon on not, which
no, it's
some
definitely
people
not.
will go ahead and do. Right.
Yeah, so this is an east looking. So this is looking towards east, and towards west there was sun, and it was actually in fact in that positions. So if you can see the light, in fact you can see that light is actually coming from behind. So if there was a rain, the rainbow would be approximately in that position itself. So that's that. Yeah. But again, when I edited that, I just thought that I would do some silly stuff. I would consider this as a silly stuff. I like it anyway, but again, different people has different views about photo art.
Wow.
This is one of that clip with Arpan again. in Joshua Tree National Park, and Pritam and Saptaswa. So all of my close photography buddies from Toronto were there, except Subham. Saptaswa was the one that who taught me carb and labels that I mentioned. So yeah, so we were there, and we were taking photograph of sunset and all. And I had to kind of, there was like really nice light. I had to carve out some of the rays, but the scene was kind of totally like that. It was surreal to experience. This place is amazing, by the way. These chola cactus and stuff, they have the capability that they glow even after the sun goes down. So they are really amazing.
I've heard some horror stories of this as well, because.
Oh yeah. I mean, only thing is that here is the thing. So people who are getting stuck in that thorn all the time, right? And once they get stuck, if there's no way that you can get it out easily, because they are so attachy. Like even if you just touch slightly, they will attach to your skin. And here's the interesting thing. And this gives me an edge. And being from village, and I am always really proud of my upbringing and all. People who are walking on boots and all, and still getting stuck with thorns. And you won't believe me, I was traveling this whole place with sandals, and I did not get a single thorn in my skin.
Oh.
It's probably,
that's a trick.
Yeah, it's probably because I was really careful. I know that how, I don't know how it probably it has to do something with my upbringing, but I was really kind of wondering about with my sandals. And people, I have seen a couple of people walking with boots and all the kind of heavy boots and all, and still there were kind of things getting stuck with their hand and all. I did get one at the very end, towards the very end, and that was really hard. That really did hurt. But it was, I think I was doing okay even with sandals. I was just wearing plain sandals, sandals.
But they say that the thorns come and prick you even when you are close to them. You don't have to. They will fly towards you, kind of.
It does. Even if it just gets a little bit, you just get really close to them, not touching, but they will kind of get attached to you. And the thorns are like, they have a when they insert here, they just that's fine. They attach to the screen, but they have two kind of attachments towards your skin. So when you pull it out, it really hurts because the thorn they are really kind of upwards. So it inserts like an arrow, and when you pull it out, it really hurts. And they're like microscopic. You can not microscopic really. If you really take it to your close to your eyes, you can see them. So that's why it really hurts. And not like the Indian thorns that we are faced that that you just there's a thorn and just take it out and that's easy. No, it's not like that. When you take it out, it really hurts. It pulls your screen towards up, to upwards and all. Chola cactus. This is, I don't know why I put it in there. I don't like it for a grub, but now it got placed. It's from Palus. It's a place called Palus, and there's like everyone knows that place, and it's in fall. There's a place called Superstition Mountain, and I need to revisit that again. But it was our first visit in 2016, and I think it was worth it. Or 2017, I guess. Probably I would process this photo differently nowadays, in a second thought. But I think that was one of the.
So just out of curiosity, how would you process it differently? What would you do differently?
I would feel that, yeah, and thanks for the question, Sandeep. I feel that colors are a little bit odd here, and also the shadows, if you notice, and like the areas here, you can see that it's not very matured. The shadows are not very matured in a sense that there's need to a little bit more contrast in the shadows. Probably the mountain has almost no detail, and this light has actually gone blown out. So I need to probably think about a little bit more how could I do it. Even in the cactus here, if you see it, there is very few details. The highlighted areas of cactus are really not that kind of good. So I would probably put a little bit more thought into that, how we have to do it. The angular light, I would probably increase the angular light a little bit more. That's coming towards the mountain. That's one of the reasons that one of the things that I will do. Yeah.
More details in the shadows. That would be your goal.
Yeah. More details in the shadows. This one I really liked because one of my personal favorites, and it has its caveats too. But I really like the airy, breezy, airy, happy processing that I did for this one. I had two versions of the same sort. One of the version is with really dark and copper tone processing, but this is like really breezy, airy, light mood, like a fresh morning feel in the sort. This place is Mono Lake, unmistakably Mono Lake, and we had a full moon, and we got a really nice cloud formations. And this was a trip with my wife after my first kid was born. No, after my second kid was about to be born. When my second kid was about to born and all. But in Western US, so Yosemite, Mono Lake, and all. And when I was exploring for kind of nice formations where I can take some photos, and I came up on this, and this looked like a time machine to me, like an ancient alien time machine. Okay, I will take some pictures. And the sunrise was not really very good or very colorful. What was colorful was the moon set, because back then moon was kind of setting down and sun was coming up, and this really nice thing unfolded in the morning hours. It was about, I think, 5 a.m. in the morning, and it was a handful. I don't know, maybe I can think about it a little bit differently if I am there in the scene today. Don't know.
What was your choice of lens for this?
It was, I think, 1835. Back then, I only had one lens, 1835. I did not have any other wide lens.
I think
should have
lens.
Sorry?
I think it's a DX lens. It's a crop lens.
There is an 18. Sorry, there's my bad. There is a 1835 FX lens too, I think.
Okay.
I'm not remembering clearly, but yeah, I think there's a 1635 or 1835. There's a FX lens too, and that was the lens of my choice back then.
35 FX f4, but this did not look like a wide angle to me. Looked.
Yeah, it was maybe. I can check it out. What was the properties? This file info. Lost here. Need to check the. But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably 18 mm or 20 mm, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atanu,
Yeah.
can you move your cursor away from the image? Can you keep it on the side? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's done. That's why there is no more picture. Right now, I will share one more folder, and where we can clearly see the impact of Prakash's processing style in the pictures. Slowly, it will come up. But first, let's start with some bright. Then we'll go to the dark. So
don't go too much in dark, huh?
I don't know. This place has been on my wish list for quite a long time, and I will now be hitting Prakash if you don't go there next time.
100%. Next time, 100%.
100% तेरा देखूंगा अगली बार.
This is not
right? In the winters. This has to be done in the winters.
Done. March 2021.
I think let us go in winters.
It was in summer, by the way. So even in summer, it is very beautiful. But yeah, in winter, it will be more beautiful because there will be snow and all in everywhere. So I went with my wife again, and it was in 2016. It was 2016. Yes, it was 2016 when I went to Iceland. And we were kind of listing on all the places, and then I came to Google search this place called Brewerfoss. We Google searched how to reach there. We did a bushwalk, like find it, kind of trying to find our own way, and then we thought that not required. There's already a trail in place through a neighborhood. So we went to the neighborhood. There was a gap in the fence. We went to the fence, and then there was this waterfall accessible. It was a muddy trail back then, and
it still is a muddy trail. That's what we've heard. I could not go. I tried going there this time, last time, so to say, but it was raining so heavily that people, for almost a week, that everybody suggested that since it's a muddy trail, it is not advisable to go after so much of rain.
Rain, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and even then, when we went, even then it was actually raining. It was actually raining even then when we were starting to hike. But yeah, we made it anyway. Yeah, and I think they closed Brewerfoss some days ago, and then they reopened it. They closed Brewerfoss because people are complaining too much that the tourists are passing through our neighborhood and they were creating noise and all. They're not respectful. So then they closed the trail, and I think then they reopened it after creating a proper trail or something. I don't know the latest update, but yeah, that's the case.
No, that trail is still closed. Actually, they closed it. It was going through the land of the farmers, and because of
they've opened it, Prakash. They've opened.
Okay, because there was a news last year beginning that they closed it.
Yeah.
When we went, they had opened it, but it rained heavily last year for when we were there for almost a week continuously. So then people suggested that don't go there because it will be very slippery and all. Yeah,
it's very slippery. Yeah, true. And also, I kind of think that when I went there, it was summer, so all these grasses were green, by the way, and I had to tweak the saturation or hue a little bit to my liking to make it look like fall, because I was not liking the green color. So that is one of the things that I did in choosing. Yeah, and I did not like the summer look of the fall.
Very nice.
This is Glacier National Park. Again with my wife, and it was the second trimester special for my wife. And yeah, in this year we spent some really nice mornings, got some reflections and all. This was one of them. This picture quality looked bad, but I forgot where I kept the original file. But it was one of the classic Canadian Rockies place called Lake O'Hara. And Lake O'Hara is a hike-only place. You can go there with a bus, and you cannot drive there. It's a hike only. But the hikes are amazing, and I would say this is the hands down the best place in Canadian Rockies to hike or to take pictures, to get unique angles, everything. It has the most punch-packed. It's the most punch-packed place in the whole Canadian Rockies. Lake O'Hara, crown jewel of Canadian Rockies. And this picture does not do justice to that place, but it was one of my favorite memory because of the hike that we had there.
The compositional elements are amazingly placed, right? All over. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I wanted to say that because when you shared your initial journey, there were very vague inputs about how did you start kind of gaining in terms of better understanding about composition and other stuff. So who influenced you in your probably compositional style? Did it come to you naturally, or did you have to really follow somebody's work to understand that? And even post-processing. So post-processing, there are many images where there is a very clear influence of Arpan. And because having seen his work and having seen his presentation, I can say that there are many images where it exactly looks like as if it's Arpan style. But there are many images where you've really trying to show your own style and your own kind of signature style. Because I remember when I got to know about you and I was looking at your Instagram page, the images that I saw, initial set of images that I saw were very soothing, very beautiful, and very subtle. So there's a very clear kind of contrast between your two styles that you continue to hop between.
Yeah.
Is my observation right or wrong? And
You
particularly,
are right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Jesse ji, and thanks for this question. So basically, it does not come to me naturally, to be honest. Any kind of compositions, any kind of art, I am not going to pretend and say that no, I can feel the place. It comes to me really naturally. It doesn't. I am really kind of a calculative. I have a really calculative mathematical brain, and I like mathematics a lot, and I am not a outright appreciator of art or outright artist, I would say. I really kind of learn things from people, absorb things from people, and then really kind of reflect my own way. It's not a good thing to do, but probably mix myself as well on the way. But I'm really kind of not. I cannot really visualize myself or visualize a scene directly. I did not learn photography very organically in a way that I discovered in this photography by myself. I always got influenced by people. I learned from their styles and all. So initially, when I was in my initial photography days, of course, as I mentioned, like KPC and all, and I was influenced by their work. After coming to Canada and when I started landscape photography, I met a photographer called Callum Snip in Canada in my first trip to Canadian Rockies, first day itself. And his composition style really influenced me in the very beginning. Then I came to know the works of Paul Giska. So his influence, his styles, his composition style, his photography style influenced me. And then slowly, gradually, I explored more and more and more. And I was really kind of influenced by the works of Ryan Dyer, Mark Adamas, and everyone, and their compositions and how they kind of compose a scene and how they process and all, right? And Arpan, actually, I came to know about in 2016. But before that, I was kind of composing scenes like in a way that, or processing the styles in a way that I was trying to mimicking their styles and less trying to put my styles. But now I know that, at least now I try to put my own styles in each photograph and not kind of, mimic anybody. And that's what I think I learned. The only thing that I would say that I need to still go a long way, that I am really still very scared of experimentation. I do experimentations, but I stay in the limits of what is shown or what is kind of, what is kind of already explored. And that's something that I need to change. I need to change that fact. I need to do a little more experimentation with my own styles, with my own processings and all, with my own compositions probably. One problem that happened, that when I am trying to follow different people's styles, different people has different like conflicting styles. Like if you look at Paul Giska and if you look at Mark Adamas, those two has completely different styles, right? And that, I needed time to understand that simple fact that you cannot follow both the styles simultaneously. You have to pick one. And that actually made me really like confused for a lot of, for a big time. So I was following Paul Giska, I was following Ryan Dyer, I was following Mark Adamas, I was following everyone. And you cannot just infuse everyone in one single photograph. You have to, or one single kind of, best thing that to stick to your own style and follow your own style, whatever suits best, which I am yet to find. But I think that actually messed up me a big time, that I was following too many big people's and their own styles and I was trying to copy them. But I appreciate all of them. But I think I really, right now I know that I cannot do that. And I need to kind of stick to one style or another. And I really need to choose a path. But what is my path? I still don't know. I'm still exploring. And I think I'm getting there slowly to getting my, or to establishing my own style. And Arpan influenced me in that, and when I saw his photograph, he has his own style too. It's kind of similar to American style, but he has his own style too. and he influenced me to find my own style. Of course, he influenced in his own way too. So I got really started copying Otman style initially, and which turned out, some of the photographs turned out to be good, but then also I had to find out what is my own style too. So I think that still I'm exploring, and hopefully I will find very soon. Still a student.
I also feel that your own style is not really a destination. It is a journey. And you will keep changing that style. You will have this and you will change. And
I did change a lot. I switched between airy and breezy, between dark and, as I mentioned, I really get influenced by people who I met. So, and Prakash is smiling. He knows why I'm saying that. So yeah. But yeah, I really do get influenced by people, and I think that it's allows me to learn really lots of new things.
See, getting influenced is not a bad thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's not like that you are copying them. It's just basically the color palette, the way you process. It's not you are copying a Mona Lisa or anything. It is just duplicate. It is just the color palette, and there are not 1,000 color palettes. Everybody matches to somebody. If there are 1,000 people, 500 people will match the other 500 people. So it is basically the the warm color. There are light tones, there are blue tones, there are purple tones. So everybody has that same matching feeling, but it's basically locks down to one thing, which is like what you feel right, where you want to lock down yourself. That is basically where it comes down to what is your liking, nothing else.
I just want to add, like, I've obviously known Atanu's work a little bit last year. I probably saw him. But this year, as I saw his images, I think I've reached a point where I can make out it's Atanu's image. I don't know it's because of our friendship or because I've been watching your images. But obviously, there are, like Prakash was saying, some, at the end of the day, you have 16-bit color channel to play with, right? That's all you have. So I think some colors are very unique to you.
Exactly.
I don't know if you're aware, specifically the pink, the light pink towards the perimeter specifically.
Yeah.
So it creates a little bit of, I think, little bit of encirclement, kind of encircles the whole image, which I have.
Atanu wala pink.
Atanu wala pink. Thanks. If I'm getting there, then I think that I am getting somewhere at least. But yeah, I still have some way to go before I can say that okay, I have my own style. And
that's the humility that comes across, because in the end we all know that wherever we are nowhere individually. The moment I get to the kind of realization somehow, which tells me that I'm there now, that is where things start going wrong. That is where, when you are jumping on this rock for this image, you fall, you hit the rock with your face on. I think that is so we all are kind of evolving. Some people are taking longer, some people are taking faster, taking less time, but I think we are all on a journey. And in the end, let me be honest, and when I looked at your images, and I must be very, very honest here and candid here in admitting that, because I had not met you at all. I had not even seen you. Before that, I had not even heard about you. Let me be honest.
Yep.
And the moment I got to know, and I was the first thing that I always do is to search the work, and Instagram happens to be the first thing that you go to. If you don't find there, then you probably go to Facebook. If you still don't find there, then you go to the website. So I found your images on Instagram, and I might not have gone through the entire kind of portfolio that you have put in there, but yes, initial few images were quite impressive, quite clean, and I really like them. So so we all are there. I think it's a journey that we all are taking. And we all are kind of creating our own niche with whatever we are doing.
Right. We are kind of all evolving. All of my Instagrams, pictures are posted from my recent works. I made sure that I don't post my old bad works. So all of my posted Instagrams are posted from. Well, I I started using Instagram from 2016 itself. So it's all after that. 2017, I think I have posted the works. This is a scene from Iceland. And this is probably, one of my favorite picture, not because the compositions or anything, not because of memory, but because how I faked the image, you can say, instead of saying processed. I am being brutally honest on myself here, because I can show you the process, and there is none of the compositions elements are added or removed. Everything was there, but the sunset that I put there, and it was, the sun usually goes down, in that kind of place in summer. But yeah, the way that I put the sun there, that I brought out the clouds and colors, I really liked them, how I did that, because if you see the raw, it will be not, it will not be recognizable. And I have shown that earlier to some people, and it is really a gray, black and white place. It's not even that, stuff. There's lots of sands, and the picture is cut from here. There was not even the down, this part was not even there. It's a kind of composite in that sense, that I took the picture, flipped it, put the sands a little bit down below. I manipulated the picture, this picture itself, in a way that, it came out this way. And it looks a little bit clean and nicer. So I'm proud about the processing, not for the compositions or not for the light that I got. Because from where I transitions, actually, let me actually share that. And I declared that as well, that I took my liberty here to process the images in certain way. And it's definitely not my best work, but the way I felt that the way that I brought out or rescued the image from, it was nothing, something out of nothing. I remember that phrase from Rand, and I was looking for that. That actually I liked it. So let me actually.
Something from nothing.
Something from nothing. Not nothing from something.
That's what we specialize in, Atanu, not
that I continue to do in these lockdown days. That the image was good, and I make a mess of it. And I said,
no, it's a problem, right? No problem. Like many good images, which would have been like really good thing, we do mess up that image at the end of the day. And I have done it a lot of times, and I can, and I'm sure that everyone can relate to that fact. So let me actually share my screen here again. Why is Zoom? Okay.
Your screen is already shared. We can see the image.
No, my screen is not shared. It is application. You can see the Photoshop?
No, not Photoshop. It is on the.
To stop sharing, reshare.
Stop sharing first.
Yeah, stop sharing. And then share screen, and then share computer. How do you share the whole screen?
So there you go. Bring a Photoshop and then basically reshare.
Yeah. So this was the image.
Wow.
I was really kind of proud for this processing that I did, and the things, clouds and everything are there. You can see the patterns here. I just stretched it a bit, and I just put some colors on that to make sure that the image kind of stand out. But that's pretty much it. So that's why I consider that it's one of my good works of processing. Not so much for the picture. I should have taken the better picture probably in that place. Luckily or unluckily, I did not get the sunset or sunrise there. Yep.
Very nice.
And that is, of course, Jokul Sarlan.
yeah.
My speech. I only got 1 day of sunrise after making 6 journey to that same place.
I haven't got even a single day till, so don't worry.
That place is always cloudy. For some reason, that place is always cloudy.
3 trips, 9 times, not a single time.
Iceland says, come back every time, then I will think of it.
Then I will think of
give
it.
you or not.
Prakash doesn't have an issue, right? His images are dark. He likes it that way.
Now it's back. Now it's Prakash's style, right? So Now, after I came to Exploring Lights, and it was one of the first images that I processed after joining Exploring Lights. It's a waterfall, and I really got influenced by Prakash's dark processing styles and all, and it was processed that after that. So you can clearly see the influence. It's a daytime, it's an image towards afternoon. I just reduce the exposure and put a lookup table, blue lookup table, or moonlight lookup table, and it changed the color palette. Then just little bit tweak, and I got the result.
You remove that.
Now you are giving
that
competition.
stone from the sky, and it is Prakash image 100%.
Now you are giving competition. Not good, huh?
But ATANU, you are not the only mind that he has corrupted. Corrupted a lot of minds.
That's how Dark Lord works, na? It corrupted me first.
Corrupts everything, everyone, right? Enrico, is that the one who crafted you?
Oh.
Not really.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, this was like Mount Hood, and this was my first visit in Oregon, and I fell in love back then. And it was in 2016 with my kid. Yeah, with my kid when he was 6 months old, and my wife. Oregon and Mount Rainier visit. But yeah, since then I was dreaming of coming to Oregon and then staying here. We flew from Toronto back then.
So, Atanu, actually, I want to ask you this: how did this happen? From Toronto, you orchestrated this move, found a job specifically in Oregon.
It did not go smooth. So people sacrifice lots of stuff, and I sacrificed my job basically, and it went unknowingly, like it was unexpected. So I was kind of pushing my, we moved to United States, Chicago last year, 2019. In 2019 January, probably we moved there. Me, my wife, and my kid, and my 2 kids actually. We moved from Toronto to Chicago, and then when we were there for 3 months, me and my wife were discussing, we are here in the United States now for 3 months. We might as well visit the West Coast, and and then settle there, right? We're discussing those stuffs, and then I started pushing my employer that put me in West Coast and put me in West Coast. They said that yeah, we will think about it, and then they put me in even more east, which is North Carolina. So I got transferred to North Carolina for 2 months, and it was a place like really hot and humid. It's a very nice place. It's a very beautiful place in terms of their smokies and all, and there are some good friends I met there. I met Jeet there. Well, I am friend with Jeet for a long time, but I met Jeet there. Then in North Carolina, I met another friend called Devjyoti there. So we had a like really nice community. But then I thought that I have to go to West Coast at any cost. And I told my employer that if you don't transfer me, I will leave the company, clearly. And back then, they needed me. So they tried to retain me, saying that, okay, fine, we will give you West Coast. You just go there, we will give you West Coast. And they just made up a positions and then tell that, fine, you go there, you take the positions, you'll be there West Coast, and you can be anywhere basically, and just do your job. So I did that. I came to West Coast. I made the whole move. I returned to Chicago, packed up my belongings, rented a truck, and put my stuff there, shipped all the other stuffs in a container, and then rented Dodge Caravan, put my computer, put my monitor, put my kids, my wife, and all the other stuffs, household stuffs, and then me and my wife, we drove the whole way from Chicago to Oregon. Wow. Intercontinental drive. While moving. So basically, it's like we are refugee now. We are moving across the United States, and then we are making the move.
Migrant life.
And then when we entered Oregon, the moment that we entered Oregon, the Columbia River Gorge, we feel like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is where we want to be, and it is like it was a moment for us. And you remember that how TJ was explaining that when he moved from Chicago to Oregon, how was his feelings? That oh my God, he has to. That's exact same feeling that finally we made it. We are here. We are in Oregon, right? So we came here in Oregon, and that's why I could relate that a lot when TJ and Alex was explaining their move from East Coast to West Coast. But after I came here, we got an apartment, we settled down, and then something happened. Then my employer said that the position that we were looking for, it's not available, and we cannot retain you in that position, so you are in bench. You have pretty much 7 days to find a new job. Yeah. And that was pretty bad. And it was last year, December. It was pretty bad. And I had to kind of, find a new job and all. I said that, okay, fine, I will do that. Just give me some time. They said that, yeah, take your time. Luckily, I got actually, more than 2 weeks time. I got 1 month time and all. Well, even more than 1 month. I somehow it just went on for a bit longer. And then, I think this year, January, I joined my old company, very old company, which I joined in 2006, Cognizant. I switched the company, and luckily I found a job. I had a friend here, so he referred me, and then got the job as well. So it worked out eventually. But yeah, moving that move, now I can now come to think of it, that move from East Coast to West Coast, that actually did cost my job. So yeah, it was a unwilling sacrifice, or unintentional. Didn't do that, but it happened.
I mean, 3 months more, it would have been so much more risky, right, Atanu?
Yeah, I mean, 2-3 months more. If I just, if it comes to April, it would have been really bad situation. Luckily, it worked out so far, and that's what I told at the very beginning. I have faced that situation, and we just moved everything from East Coast to West Coast with all our family, literally everything. We left the apartments in Toronto and everything. We don't have any other place to live. Now, if I am told that you don't have any job, then I'm in a very big mess, right? That's why I told in the very beginning that I am thankful for 2 things: Xploring Lights, that has happened good to me, and then the job. I'm happy that I have a job at least for now.
A great family who has been around you. It's like support every decision you've made. That's amazing.
Definitely, my family, luckily that they have supported me for some tough times. Definitely.
Yeah, now enjoy Pacific Northwest. That's all you can do, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, life is uncertain. You never know what's going to happen, right? So as long as I'm here, I'll try to enjoy it as much as I can. Absorb the whole kind of light and air of Pacific Northwest with last breath. And the people here are amazing. I made some good friends here and welcoming. So I like the place a lot.
And this is one of my favorites from you.
Yeah, coming back to dark processing again. So yeah, I mean, again, influenced by dark processing, and this was a very bright day, and I had to no colors, so I had to think of something different. And thank you, Fimati, for that compliment. I had to kind of switch it to dark processing. So maybe it worked out. That was about the water steps.
It really worked out. It really looks nice.
Yeah.
From your original image.
Thank you. You have seen the original image, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so you know that how it was kind of originally there. I have kept my favorite topic, which is night sky, for the very end. Let me share my screen. So this is.
I love this, man. I love this.
You guys all know we have processed it after, very very recent image. Nothing much to say about that. It's Lofoten, and I went to Lofoten on I think last year November, before my job was kind of I was kind of told that you don't have a job. So yeah, at least I could enjoy the Lofoten. And then after coming back to Lofoten, I called, then I came to know about that. But yeah, it was a neat night. Lofoten. And very recent shot in Crater Lake National Park. After I bought the tracker of Move Shoot Move, I was trying to give it a try, or I was trying it out in Crater Lake. And I think for the first attempt of the star tracker, or it was the second attempt actually. Like how the stars and detail came out. It was, I think, the shot at 35 mm. The stars. The foreground was, I think, at 20 mm or something.
How long was the shot?
shutter speed was about 100. And Prakash, I gave you the raw, and you said that you'd show me a little bit of different processing. How about that?
I vanished with it. No, I didn't get time. I'll do it this week.
No, I think
100%.
would all like to have a go at this.
Thank you.
This is a very nice capture.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandeep. So this was, yeah, so this is a place. So this was one of the composites, basically. This was one of the composites. One of the first composites ever I made. It was, I think the foreground was shot at Iceland. And the Milky Way was shot at Bruce Peninsula. So I mentioned that it was a composite. I do very few composites. And I think this was probably only one or two of them. But yeah, I kind of did not want to waste the whole foreground. It was a nice foreground. So I thought, why not represent the Milky Way?
What is your thought on composites?
I like it. Why not? As long as you declare it, it's a composite, who cares? It's all about art. If you, as long as, you put you put something and then you claim that it's original. Oh, I shot it and you put a long story behind it, how you hiked 10 kilometers. And then if it turns out that it's a composite, then you are lying. As long as you are being transparent about it, who cares what you are doing, right? So
yeah, I have had similar experiences, so I'll share that experience once you're done.
Okay, yeah, I mean you can go on now.
There are a lot of photographers who say composite is not good. You are spoiling the image. You are showing wrong impression. This, that.
Yeah, I think I might be one of those people. I'm not very comfortable about composites, even if you declare it. I mean, but each to his own. I don't want to do it, but it doesn't stop anybody else from doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even me, for me, I actually, as I mentioned, like I do composite like really rarely, and this is one of the probably 2 or 3 composites that I have done. But I like the work that Prakash has done, and he is kind of like really kind of declares upfront that this is how I kind of imagine the scene.
I am always 100% on good composite. If it is done nicely, if it matches, it blends with the whole scene, it's a good one. See, photography is an art. There is no rule, and there are a lot of rules.
No,
as simple as that.
What works for you? Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean,
but it depends on choices.
Yeah. I think I would also agree there, because in the end, personally, if you ask me, I'm like what Sandeep is saying, that I'm not in for composites. I haven't tried a single image till now. I've never been motivated to do that, but I'm all for it because it's an art, and I also believe that art is subjective, and there's nothing wrong in it as far as done aesthetically, because
exactly
people who criticize something like this as a composite, there are also people who criticize post-processing. There are also people who criticize X.
Absolutely.
There are also people who criticize Y. There'll be people who will be not happy with A to Z. So there are all kinds of people. Let's not even get into that. I think as far as it is declared, because there was a very recent controversy that's been coming out of the one storm image that
Aaron Gordon,
So I'm not wanting to get into the naming here, but everybody would, you Google and you will figure it out what that controversy is all about. That is what not I am into. So that is what I would not like anybody to get into doing that. But yes, otherwise, and this works well. So
and definitely that's what I would agree, completely agree. And there was a kind of discussion that which we going on, I think last year, that there's a plausibility of a scene, like if you just shoot a horses of Camargue, right? Horse running on Camargue, and you put a Milky Way over the horses. I mean, it's a composite, but it looks like so fake that that your eye tell that there is something wrong. A horse running and it's frozen in a moment in horses of Camargue, and you're putting a Milky Way. It's long exposure shot, so it's like what is this, right? Like what the crap of this, right? So or something like that, like there's a vertical sort. For example, you took a really vertical sort of Xenia and you put a Milky Way and squeeze the Milky Way in a, like that, and then you put a Milky Way over top of that. And I think these sorts were kind of made by Arpan to make the point in collaboration with Daniel Kordan and all. And they kind of started to discuss that if you're doing composite, just be mindful of what you are doing. Just, don't put a Milky Way over that, over a vertical pano and then you put small Milky Way over top of that. Or don't put a Milky Way over the running hots of camera. You can put Milky Way over anything, literally, because it's very easy to do that. Doesn't mean that, it will look very kind of nice. It looks off to eyes, that's all. Again, you have full right to do so, and people have full right to criticize, right? After all, so, things are there. It's a dicey topic.
The problem is, I think, the science, like you're saying, like when people bend science to just beautify an image, right?
Yeah.
And that image is not technically possible to reproduce.
Exactly.
And like obviously people can declare that it's a composite, and they can wash off their hands by saying
Right.
that don't try it. I know I probably made full of science, and that is fine if it looks good. But the moment people try to pass on composites and try to basically, again, I think the image that you're talking about is Daniel Cotton's image.
Correct.
Posed with another one, and it's so fake. It's so fake. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Kordan tried to make a point that that this is what you should not do, and then people tried. The funny thing is that the image was the irony. Like image, Arpan and Yuri, they did the Daniel's image. That's to show that the point that this is what you should not do.
Correct.
The irony is that Instagram group take those image and posted it as a wow image. So they fell victim of the same point they were trying to put against. So many Instagram groups, like, they actually took that image and they took that image and said, oh, it's a wow image. And I said that, guys, they actually did the image to point out that what you should not do. And you are saying that image, it's a wow image. I mean, come on. That was really funny thing to do. And, like
Instagram is full with people who say wow on stars on top of moon also. Okay. So no need to go to Instagram.
Don't bring that up, Prakash. It's going to be tough.
Nothing fake about this one. This is a beautiful image.
This is just like Badlands, and I don't know why this place is so less explored, but this is a beautiful place, and Milky Way aligns perfectly here, and it's one of the most most beautiful places in the US that I have ever seen, and most underrated. The landscape here is just mind blowing, and it's very easy to get into too. So I know I'm going to explore that a little bit more whenever I get some chance. But yeah, I think that this place deserves a little bit more recognition. Badlands National Park in South Dakota. This is where the Midwest of US ends and Western US starts, probably.
On the list next year.
Yeah, definitely.
how many places, Prakash, will you go to?
Okay, I am already dreaming. So
Prakash at one point can be at 3 places just because of his sheer size.
मतलब वो dark का wormhole वाला, मतलब his man from the bulk.
There's no more other places, yeah.
I think Prakash will be our Adam.
no.
Marta बना उसको.
So,
Beautiful.
process. I mean, are these all panos? The last two photographs? They're panos?
Yeah. It's all panel, and this is like 2 vertical row panel. This is like huge panel that we have to do. And please note that this is not a mistake. This is not a process. This is like that. So this rock is like that. There's a color shift here.
Mm-hmm.
It is like that. So yeah,
So
but this is a
180 degrees. How much? What is the width of this pano in degrees?
in angle.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know. More than 180 probably. A little bit more than 180. It's east to west. Definitely the Milky Way is covering. But this more than 180 because I'm saying that because the foreground, this is just near your feet, and this is like really top, like high up. So it's really hard to understand the scale of this thing, because here if you can put a people here, they'll be squeezed down to a dart.
Okay.
The bottom part is really squeezed down to enhance the Milky Way part.
There's something I wanted to ask you, Atanu, of this image, when I saw it, there's some barrel distortion on the right.
Yes.
So did you try to basically flatten it out a little bit?
We did, and if we are trying to do that, so the Milky Way was kind of going skew. And this foreground, probably I could have done that a little bit more. But then the thing is that I was trying to get this curve too. So this image is probably one of the most difficult to visualize, because this is just near our feet. So you take the camera like that, you take a row, then you take the mid row, and then you take the top row for the sky. So yeah, and there's barrel distortion here, and probably we need to correct that as well. I mean, I can use a better projection, as you mentioned, Som. Like,
have you done it manually or what?
Yeah, the distortion has been corrected manually.
No. Sorry, I mean to say, did you sort the pano manually, or it was on a bracket or something?
Oh, like handheld or no? It's tripod.
No, I mean to say, did you use it? Did you rotate the camera manually, or it was on a proper setup?
No, like manually.
Okay.
Manually, because the Milky Way is tracked as well.
No, not anything. Just technically.
Sorry.
So no nodal rail or anything. It's just shot. On a ball.
Yeah. And this Milky Way image, this Milky Way was tracked. So Milky Way had to be tracked, and I borrowed, we borrowed Orpon Star Trackers tracked images. So that's how I got the Milky Way. And the foreground was shot, I think, around a little bit around sunset. First we took the foreground, then we took the Milky Way. Okay. And this is
then how you are aligning both the images if it is shot at a different time?
Because we had the guidance. We had the guidance of the rocks. So when we saw the Milky Way, we did not took just the Milky Way. We took the rocks too. So it was easy to merge. We get the guidance of where we are placing the Milky Way.
Understood.
That's how it was done. And it is a common frame, and it also has the exact same frame too. It was a comb stomping. You can say that it's a comb stomping. Even Michael Simdam has the same frame from the same place. But it is such a beautiful frame. I don't want to miss that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I might have to do like a little bit better job handling the distortion here, as Foreman said.
And what do you use for merging these panels?
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
All of my photos are merged in Photoshop. Photoshop Panorama Maker was like Photoshop Panorama merge was horrible, I think 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Right now it's lot better, much improved. This was simplest, just for tree. And in case, basically again, shot was sort of blue hour. I did not be in the same scene, and then I captured the Milky Way. So I sort of the blue hour with myself. And while the trigger was pressed by, well, it was automatic timer. I put it in a timer to take 20 shots or 30 shots, and I went up there slowly, discarded all 15 images, kept only 5 images from that, and then got the Milky Way. Then we had these images from Canada, which was my latest start trail. And that's the last start trail that I think I did in 2017. And it was a start trail on the night of Perseids meteor shower. So you can see the meteors are flying as well, along with start trail. So it was Perseids meteor shower. I wanted to shot that meteor and start trail. And if you can notice it closely, you can see that there's a very, very faint aurora also going on.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought it's just air glow, but I noticed that there's an actual very, very faint aurora going on. So yeah, and it's north facing. This was my last one, and this is more than, I think this is about 270 degrees panorama.
I love this shot.
Yeah, in Crater Lake, and with the MSM tracker, which I got recently.
I think personally for me, Atanu, this shot, so aurora is not the only thing that's attracting.
Aurora, I think this is the air glow. This is looking east from Cradle Lake. Like you are saying this, let me see the screen. This is the Cradle Lake one, right? So
Yes, yes, the crater.
Yeah, I think this is the air glow.
No, I'm just saying that aurora is not the only compositional element in the scene. It's a very balanced image. That's what I love in the whole show.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So this is also, you said, a normal panel or tracked?
This is tracked panel. Milky Way is tracked. Now I got the tracker. I will track all of them. I got the. Now none of the Milky Way will be sought in normal. Tracking is fun, man. Tracking is, it gives you the feel, that satisfaction that yes, you have sought a Milky Way. You have done something. That false sense of achievement.
So Atanu, you prefer tracking to stacking?
I do prefer tracking to stacking, yes, because I tried stacking, and I do prefer tracking because I'm not very good at stacking. Of course, that's the first reason, and also because stacking, I think that there is 2 steps involved. One is you have to use another software to stack, and then you need to take dark frame to do the noise reduction and all. So I just become lazy, and I like tracking.
But for tracking, you have to shoot the landscape separately. You have to shoot the sky separately. I think that is a lot of hard work, and that is what puts me off. And
it is.
No, actually, once you start tracking, you will never shoot Milky Way in a normal way.
I've tried.
The amount of detail it gives is totally different than a normal image. And imagine you shooting a Milky Way on ISO 100, 200, rather than shooting on 1600 and 3200 or 6400. Is it?
MSM, he would be shooting at a higher ISO. You cannot really very low.
ISO 400 only, 200 and 400.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and you are tracking for not much. Even for 3 minutes, will give you too many details.
Yeah.
The Milky Way will be so bright, you will not even go back to shoot normal images.
Yeah, the detail is really satisfying.
But you have to put a work on that. When you track the Milky Way, then merging the foreground is it's a tough job.
For your session.
So so what do you do? What is your process? First, you will track the Milky Way and then shoot the landscape, or do you shoot the landscape first?
No, actually, so I just noticed I probably got the wrong version. There is a margin mistake here. But anyway, so first of all, what I will do, after the sunset, I will take the foreground first, because the light is down, it's a blue hour. So I think it's best to get the foreground now to get enough detail to make sure that there's enough detail in the foreground. After sunset is, I think, best time, about 1 hour after sunset, when there is no glow over the mountains. And then once that is done, then I will start tracking the Milky Way. And when I start tracking the Milky Way, I usually make sure that there is no obstructions in my view. So when I did track this Milky Way, I made sure that there is no trees. These trees are not there. I went a little bit of different angle, but the Milky Way was clearly visible. In that way, I can make sure that I can use the Milky Way the way that I want. Otherwise, I'll be restricted. Oh, there was a tree in the Milky Way and it got blurred, and I will be getting difficulty in merging that. So I do change my camera position a little bit to make sure that I have no obstruction for the Milky Way, and then I see the Milky Way completely clearly, to my own content. Get back to home, merge the foreground, merge the Milky Way separately, and then bring them together. It is very much like compositing, but I would not say it's compositing, because the Milky Way would appear exactly at same angle. And to make sure that I maintain the angle, what I do, I take a picture, I open my Photo Pills app, I do double tap, and I switch the time. So at that day, at that time, where the Milky Way would have appeared from would be appearing in my screen too. That's just a way. Doppler effect. So So that's just the way that I make sure that the Milky Way is perfectly aligned just the way it should be on that day, on that time. The Milky Way can be tracked, it can be merged, but it's still, I had to make sure that, it's properly angled, properly maintained the positions of that time. So that's how I make sure that even though technically it's a merge or blended, but it makes sure that, the end result comes technically perfect.
Good explanation.
Just for others to understand, don't you think it will be better if you use a rotator with markings? It will be easy if you are shooting it from the same place.
Rotator means that, the tracker, right?
Not the tracker. Basically, the head comes with different points where you rotate one camera at a degree, like 5 degree, 10 degree, 15 degree. Okay,
Yeah.
so it gives you a exact point where you shot your previous image.
Correct. Yes, we can do that. We can do that, and that would be probably more, more technically, more politically correct way of shooting that. That you are making sure that you have shot the Milky Way and the foreground exactly in same place, so you are more politically
Exactly.
correct. But the end result doesn't matter, right? So end result, as long as you have taken a perfect Milky Way, as long as you are maintaining the alignment, people does not go and pick. At the end of the day, it's stitching, it's merging, right? At the end of the day, it's stitching and merging, and you are moving your camera, and in your track Milky Way, your foreground will come as blur. So you have to do mask and remove that images, and you have to put your own foreground. So technically speaking, it's merging and blending. And if it is that, then why not going a little bit more comfortable position to get the Milky Way completely clear, and then get the foreground and then merge them together to make sure that it's aligned perfectly in a scientific positions.
Ultimately, it is doing the same job. Whatever makes it better.
Whatever makes it better. Yeah. And I think it's very important to take that, to mark that positions in that way, in that time, in photopills or in any app, that where the Milky Way is appearing from on 11:30 p.m. on June 6th, 2020. So take that screenshot, put it as your reference, put it in the same folder. So when you merge, you can at least merge at that exact same angle. So that, if when you are getting cross-verified, you can claim that here's my proof. I have a proof that, I am not doing anything. I'm not putting mountain of the Senia. Sorry, I'm not putting Milky Way of the Senia.
How many times have you been cross-examined on that?
I have not been ever once, but I'd like to cover my tracks if I still.
Okay, there is a good question. Moinak is asking, how many times you have encountered puma or grizzly or those kind of?
Grizzly, a lot of times. Puma, never. So puma, it's very hard to encounter because they're very shy. So a puma or a wolf can hear you before you can see them, 110%. They will, if they can see you. So if you can see them, then you can be rest assured that they have seen you as well. They're just ignoring you, or they have more something, something else in their interest. So it's impossible to find puma or wolf in wild unless you are really unlucky. Bear, you can find it because grizzly bears are habituated in US with human presence to some extent. So I have encountered grizzly a lot, not in trail, luckily, and I don't want to do that, but while in car. If you encounter grizzly in trail, it's a risky. It's not a happy encounter probably.
Arpan was asking your Alaska Aurora shot. You have it? The Aurora shot?
Alaska, I have. Yeah, I do have it actually. It's coming up.
Okay.
This was one of my most memorable nights in my whole life in Bruce Peninsula. Not for the fantastic aurora, because the aurora can be better, definitely. The image quality can be better. But that day I did not plan for anything. I just planned for a simple backpacking hike and nothing else. A solo backpacking just to unwind myself. I drove to Bruce Peninsula. I did a simple backpacking without knowing anything, no forecast, nothing. And then, I was just chilling out during sunset, enjoying waves on my own, totally alone, nothing in the wild, crashing waves of, Georgian Bay. not a single human element in my vicinity. And then I thought, okay, fine. If I'm chilling, I might as well take some sunset shot. So I just turned towards west to take the sunset shots. And when I turned towards west, I saw that there is some glow in my screen, even in the sunset, green glow. And I figured out that's aurora, northwest. Basically, sun sets towards northwest, right? So that's why I was pointing my camera towards northwest, not exactly west. And then I figured out it's northwest, and it must be aurora. And that night, it was the highest KP forecast in my whole life so far. It was KP 7+. It never happened again, unless until the time I went to Alaska. The sky bursted in aurora, even in Bruce Peninsula, and it was really, the whole lake was green. It was reflecting the green light so much. It was a dark night, and after the moon did set, and it was such an amazing place. The whole place was with me, only me, and I was the only one who can experience that. All the people actually went to sleep or went to bed in the camp. There was a camp nearby, and they went to bed because these people early rise, early sleep, and they went to bed in 9:30. And in 9:30, the sun did not still set, and they already went to bed. And this picture was taken around 11 o'clock when the sun did just set. You can still see some glow here. And sorry, this way, this is about the moon. So, and I was screaming, people, this is aurora, there's a fantastic aurora going on, come up, come up. Nobody did come up. I think that's fine. I will just take my own shot. I did take some self shot in the aurora, and it was a very, very amazing, lonely, and to my own experience that I never had to share with anyone else. But yeah, it was really remembering. I mean, really memorable experience. And this was my best, I think I consider that my best aurora watching experience in Alaska. Even this day, it was like 7+. But I was in Alaska this time, and this time the whole sky was, like bombarded with aurora from north to south. Doesn't matter. Initially, my thought process was that you have to look north to get aurora, but when I was in Alaska, I realized that was a false. That was a false statement. You can see aurora in any directions. If there is, there is strong enough forecast, it will be north, it will be south, it will be east, west. Doesn't matter. So this is a panorama for the whole sky, essentially, and I have to squeeze it down into just one small screen, but it is 360. So this place probably is over my head, and this is probably the other side of the sky, and I had to squeeze it all down into just one place to display that how amazing was the whole thing. And you can see that it has actually the distortion of globe-like distortion. The clouds and all has been distorted, and that's because that whole sky has been squeezed to a small place, and the whole sky was it was a most memorable experience for me.
That's crazy, right? Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was sleeping in that RV, and the guy named Pritam, who was our third wheel for that trip, for me, my wife, my kid, Pritam also accompanied us, and we are really thankful for that. So Pritam was on guard that if there's an aurora, I will give you a shout. And we were chasing aurora for a long time, and we did not get a good aurora. We got some aurora, but no good aurora in Alaska in that trip yet. And at 2 a.m., Pritam started screaming, "There's an aurora, come up, come up." And then he went into the RV and literally started shaking me up. "Hey, Atanu, there's a big aurora going on, come up." And then I came out and then saw that the whole sky is like bursting with aurora. And I woke up my wife and kid. My kid was too young to understand anything, but I think it was memorable. Yeah, we slept there in the RV that night. But after the aurora came up, did not sleep. Could not sleep actually. It was such an amazing experience. This is Flowerpot Island. Canada landscapes are not that explored, and it's good and bad both. Good in the sense that there's a lot of possibility, unique composition and all. And this shot is shot only a few times or a handful of times before myself and Arpan, and we shot it. And this paint was something Arpan described, mentioned in an earlier session that where my wife and kid were sleeping, and we were taking the Milky Way shot from the behind. And it's the island where you have to go with the boat and it's a remote camping. This, not one of my favorite image, but somehow it won the Skyline Photography Award for some reason. So I thought it's a keepsake. And it's a salt flat, not the salt flat of Death Valley. It's a Hillian salt flat, which you know the location of. And it will be shared in my workshop if I do that. No kidding. I mean, it's called Amboy salt flats. So yeah, I think that's pretty much of it, of my collection of bigger works. And we are closing time too.
Kind of phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. Okay, there are. Now let me. I have few things in my mind that you pretty much shot normal landscapes. You have kind of snowscapes. You have even seascapes in between, and then you have night photography as well. What do you enjoy the most in terms of what is that drives you crazy? Like whatever time of the day you can get up and get going to shoot that.
I would say definitely night shots. So nights definitely are my favorite still. But why I shoot, even other, morning or sunrise, sunset, and other things, stuffs of that. I wish that I could specialize only in night, and I think that I still have a long way to go for that. To specialize only on night shots and only focus on dedicatedly on that. But until such time comes, I can very well explore the other times like sunset, sunrise, snow, and winter. But definitely my most favorite shots are night shots, different kind of nightscapes. That's what started me. That's what made me come into landscape photography, and that is still my most favorite genre.
Okay, great. Now there is something that I have always been thinking. We've been bringing so many masters here on this platform. They've been sharing phenomenal images, and your images have been phenomenal as well. Now, there was a time, and that is what I have experienced now. That this is just my observation, and we've not spoken about it with anybody on this panel. But my observation is that there was a time probably when clicking unique landscape images, even though you're looking staying in West Coast or something like that, was easy in a way that you could stand out.
Yeah.
Today it is almost impossible. Like if I don't know you, if I don't know Atanu, if I don't know even Ryan Dyer, then I might pass it on that image as anybody else's image who has that skill levels to really create the composition and get into the post-processing drill and present it to everybody. Don't you think that it is kind of getting to a level where staying isolated, staying unique is getting a matter of challenge, huge challenge? And if the answer is yes, then where do we go from here? Where does landscape photography move from here?
It is. It is a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge to create unique compositions and find unique places. To explore. Exploration is the key, right? And probably that who kind of do full time as a photography, and then at least they can invest some more time, or they have some ability to invest more time, because that's what kind of they have some more incentive for that right here. But it is very difficult for people like who just do for photography for hobby, and that they have to kind of find own compositions, they have to find their own explorations, because they have their own lives to go on, right? And to be honest, if you ask me, I am at that positions. I have my own life to go on, and if you ask me that you have to explore new places, I am all in for that, and I will do that. But then I will never be able to manage enough time to do that as well, because now so many places are already explored that it will get only hard day by day. The number of unexplored places will only reduce day by day. But I think having said all of that, even after having said about that, there's definitely a huge huge incentive of that to discover. There's a fun in that, I have discovered these compositions which nobody has ever taken. That's a different feeling altogether. And I was feeling that way when I was staying in Canada, because it was comparatively less explored, but at the same time, I did not have that skill level back then to kind of create a new compositions and then make it stand out. But I think that, yes, I mean, it is a really kind of difficult, it's getting difficult day by day to discover new compositions, making it work. For me, I consider myself at best a scavenger. I really I don't yet consider myself as an innovator or kind of, discoverer of new compositions. I really kind of consider myself as looking at people's compositions, trying to recreate. I'll be very humble about that. And there is no denying fact in that I have been lacking that effort myself to discover new compositions or to discover new places. Mostly, if you see my frames, they're all kind of recreation from famous photographers that we have already seen, right? That's why I told that I'm mostly a scavenger. Whatever people have already kind of done, I am just recreating that. But I feel that it still gives a personal sense of satisfaction, even though it's not any compositions. It gives me satisfaction that I took that photograph. It's a photograph that I took, I processed, I made. I can print it. I can print it in a big metal print, and I can put it in my home, and I can call that this is my photograph. I don't have to give credit for that to anybody. I can probably give a composition credit that yes, this composition was first discovered by some place, by Ryan Dara or by somebody else. But that's about it. I can still call it as my own photograph. It will not be probably sold as a unique photograph among people, but I still get that satisfaction for some reason. And it doesn't stop me feeling that that no, it's not something that unique. Maybe someday when I will be kind of getting bored of the copied compositions, I might try a bit more hard with creating new compositions. Like Arpan is kind of, I think he is really kind of bored with copied composition, and he says that it doesn't interest me at all. And he's in a place where he always try to seek unique compositions. And whether he kind of finds it or not, that's a different story. But he does that. He tries it actively. For me, I am trying it, but I think that I need to try it harder. And I think that I still lack in that sense. I think whenever I see a frame, I get stuck in that. If it is a very nice frame, it always runs into my mind that I need to recreate that frames for some time. It's a bad thing to do. It's not a good thing to do. But I don't know. It just interests me for some reason. If I see a good frame, it always sticks with me. And I have to come up with it.
I think what I saw. So another shoot of question from the same thing is that we also saw that TJ Thorne and Alex Noriega taking a different path altogether and trying to now get into something called intimate landscapes or even macroscapes or whatever we want to nomenclature as. Do you see yourself also trying to get into that in terms of experimentation?
Yes, I have already started that. So I think the only thing that was missing from that was that, that I was not trying enough zoom or enough experimentation. So fairly honest, after the sessions of TJ, Alex, and Sasank, I have tried doing different experiments.
Well, yeah.
So I have taken many shots, which is now can be considered as unique. I have not posted them yet, and I have not processed them because I feel that I need some time to kind of know more about the processing of the intimate shots and all. But yeah, I have already started doing that. I have started looking things differently, and it has an impact on me. As I mentioned, that people does have impact on me very fast. So Alex, TJ, Sasank, they did definitely have their session definitely have an impact on me and my styles. So along with my usual stuffs, I have been also trying that as well in parallel. In my last couple of trips, I have implemented that.
All right, fantastic. There is a question from Madhurja. He's asking, how do you manage the pano of the Milky Way if you track it at the same time? I've had this question in my mind since a long time.
Okay. So if you track it at the same time?
Yeah.
So basically, as long as your Milky Way, each exposure, so basically you need a guide. So if you have like really wide lens, just make sure that you start the Milky Way, and each frame that you move, you make sure that there isn't some overlap. As long as you have a good amount of overlap, about 30%, 40% of overlap, it should be pretty smooth job merging it. One thing that you have to keep in mind, please don't go below more than 5 minutes between taking one shot and the next shot. If you spend more than 5 minutes from the first shot and the next shot, then there will be merging problems. And I have faced that earlier in Photoshop because the Milky Way moves a lot by that time and it will not be possible to merge them. So make sure that you stay within a reasonable time limit, maybe 5 minutes, something like that would be good enough. And enough overlap, definitely.
Anybody on the panel?
Where do you go from here, Atanu? What is the next goal?
Next goal. Goallessness has been always my number one enemy in photography.
Number one बोल दिया उसने.
My professional life, I'm always very goal oriented, but for photography, I don't know. I'm really kind of clueless about what I'm doing.
Any bucket list, or is there any genre you want to?
Definitely, yeah, no, definitely. I am sticking with landscape. I have tried all the genres before, and I'm not worth of any peanuts in any of the other genres. It's not my cup of tea. So definitely, I'm sticking with landscape. Probably focus more with nightscape, and a little bit more on ice, snow, and southwest. Let's see where life takes us along. I have at least the luxury of considering as an optional or experimenting with different path. So we will see where the life takes me along.
But no plans of getting full time into photography and maybe your own
I have
tours and workshops and all.
Yeah, he just asked my question.
I have seen both bright side and the other not so bright side for professional photography, right? I have heard you are Jassi ji, you are my one of the respected person that I in Xploring itself, and I know that how hard it can be, right? And you have built such a great portfolio, right? And even after that with a couple of other famous photographers like Mark, I hear the stories from Mark and anybody else, right? How hard it is to continue with photography professionally. So definitely, so if I have to do professionally, it will be probably my allegiance would be with Xploring lights always. So wherever this Xploring lights takes us, that's where I will go, definitely. But it will definitely not be my full time or anytime soon. I cannot visualize that me in that place. But I will be exploring. I will be with Xploring lights always. So wherever the path of Xploring lights takes me, I will be there.
That's it. That's quite an honor, and that's. I think we'll go places. Yeah, we'll go places together.
So can we expect a tour of the Americas in 2021?
Why not?
Why not?
Okay.
The COVID thing goes down, why not? Let's plan something. And you guys, we have such amazing board, and I have list of places. We can get list of more places if needed. But yeah, definitely.
So what would be the first place?
The first place definitely should be US Southwest, and that is a soft spot for me and Arpan and many photographers in US, and that's a gemstone and definitely the most concentrated, most photogenic places in the earth, the whole US Southwest, and after Southwest it's definitely Northwest.
Not the Canadian Rockies.
Canadian Rockies is definitely a good place as well, but the thing is that the Canadian Rockies to perform or to conduct workshops, it's definitely third choice. Why? Because all the good places I feel that are hike and all, so we need to kind of find proper participants and all, and yeah, the scene is also crowded. And
let's stick to driving car, getting down and taking photos.
I know you guys are lazy.
No. There is one person who said it first.
Person who spoke up immediately, he is the only.
Canadian Rock is the most amazing places. Involves 12, 10.
It will be wonderful.
I can hike. if the scenes calls me, that's it.
If somebody,
And Jussi knows that. He has seen me in Pharaoh.
then it's okay.
You can come here, guys, and I will
Certainly fine when there's a bike.
come to US and I will initiate you guys to backpacking, hardcore backpacking. I am a
We'll see,
hiker as
we'll see.
well. I spent lots of my years, in hiking in Canada. So, and hiking is one of my favorite hobbies, which I'm not getting enough, and that's why I'm getting fat. But I should get back to track soon.
Okay.
Oh, Himadri has been keeping quiet so far.
No, I was about to ask about treks, so that he has mentioned. So I'll ask him to share some interesting, funny, or scary story related to treks or hiking, something like that.
Yeah, but I would like to ask in combination with what Himadri is asking, that you mentioned that grizzlies you can encounter, and this question has been coming to my mind every time there has been a talk that happens on Xtra Bytes and people talk about their encounters and all. How do you stay safe? I mean, you are hiking and you say that you don't want to encounter grizzlies, but encountering grizzlies is quite a possibility, the percentage wise. How do you handle those situations, and how do you prepare yourself for those kind of situations?
So when I used to hike in Toronto, there's a club for Toronto Outdoor Club, and a shout out for them as well. So Toronto Outdoor Club actually taught me and prepared me how to hike properly, what you should plan. They actually trained me. So they actually trained me when you hike, what you should take care of, what you should put in your backpack, what sleeping bag you should use, how you should set up your tent, how you should sleep into your tent, and most important of all, how you should keep yourself safe. And one of the lessons in that is how you should keep yourself safe in bear country. Canada has lots of bear, and they actually teach you how to keep yourself safe in bear country in the provincial parks and national parks. So first of all, there are a couple of lessons that if you see any wildlife, especially in bear, keep distance. Always keep distance. Do not go near the wildlife or feed them. And if you see a grizzly or black bear or whatever, if you see a bear, stand there, hold your ground initially, and then don't run. If you run, then the animal instinct of chasing you will kick in. If you run in front of any animal, then they will chase you. That's the animal instinct, right? Yeah. But don't run. If you see a black bear, just clap loudly, make noise, and the black bear will go away. If you see a grizzly will probably not move away. So what you should do, you should slowly, just stand your ground fast, casually talk within yourselves, make some gossips, and then slowly turn your back and then start going backwards until the path is clear. Because if you just suddenly turn backwards and then start running backwards, they will chase you. So just make it casual. Yeah, fine. You encountered a grizzly, you just stayed there for 1 minute, 2 minutes, you just talked, and then you eventually just looked in different directions and then you went backwards. Don't make it obvious that you are running backwards and then running in front of grizzlies. They can sense the fear in you. That's one thing they taught me. Second thing they taught me as well, that to carry, of course, bear spray, and then how to use bear spray. It's essentially a pepper spray. And so, how to hold pepper spray against the wind, and then how to spray it if you see a bear is charging towards you, and what is the distance that you need to maintain before you spray the bear spray and all those stuffs. That's use of bear spray. Third thing is that what precautions you should take to not attract the bear to you. If you camp in a camp, bears has a strong sense of smell. Yeah. So if you hang foods or anything which has strong smell, they will be coming to your campground, and they might try to search your tent too in the middle of night, and that will be a scary encounter. You don't want to do that. So we have precautions like that. You should cook meal away from your tent, at least 100 meters away from your tent. There is strict rule, 100 feet, not 100 meters, 100 feet away from your tent. Cook meal there when you are backcountry, and then come back to your tent. After putting the foods away, hanging in a tree, there's a thing called bear hang. So you can take a paracord, you can hang it into a tree, and you can hang the food in there. It's called bear hang. So bear hang is for that where so that bear can't reach the food. Or there's another things where the bears. Some bears are actually habituated to bear hang, and they can actually climb the tree, get the food, eat it, and then go away. So you will be left without food, in middle of backcountry. So in some places, you have to use bear-proof canisters and all. So bear-proof canisters, you need to carry that bear-proof big canisters, put the food in there, put it underground or under, or inside water or something like that, or, deep inside a hole. So all those precautions has to be there. And there is a best precautions. Even they recommend that do not wear the same clothes that you do while cooking the food and while you go back to sleep. So change the clothes after you are done. Hang those clothes into tree and then go back to sleep with a different clothes. There's all kind of precautions that you need to take when you are in backcountry, and make sure that the bear does not get attracted to you. Because if the bear gets attracted to you, and by food or something, their fear of human will overcome their their hunger will overcome their fear of human, and they will scout the campground. They will scout your backpack. They will tear it down. They will throw you, or they will maul you basically. So that's one of the things that you need to be really careful to avoid encounters of bear. But most of my time, I think that encounters of bear has been pleasant. I have encountered bear in roadside a lot of times. I have taken photos of them very up close, and there is no issues in that. It should be always maintain distance.
Great.
Always maintain like 100 feet or so distance with the bear, or probably more, I think, is a guideline. So yeah. But I have never seen wolf. I have seen coyote, but never seen wolf in the wild. Only bears and a couple of other animals, raccoons, marten.
Wildlife could be another genre that you could be exploring, with so much of wildlife being there.
Yes, and some of my friends already does that. But I am lazy in the sense of lazy in carrying that huge lenses of wildlife. First thing. Second thing is that I have very low patience. So if you ask me to wait for a wildlife to come into your camera, or observe it how it's doing, I cannot. I have my friend Saptaswa. He was interested in wildlife, and whenever he used to go in my trip, he used to feel the rush that I always oh, make rush, enough of the bear, let's go on. So I am always in a rush. It's apparent, completely apparent, totally apparent in my speaking style too, that I'm always in a rush.
Arpan is in a mood today. Arpan is having a blast. He says that hike with someone who runs slower than you. It's easy. Good one. So we should always take Prakash with us.
I will get a bear mask.
Yeah, we had a fun trip in Killarney, and I think we were still initiating backpacking and all in Killarney, and like I am in 2016. I have by 2017, I think, or 18, I have already explored like much part of the southern Ontario, and by then I'm already kind of expert backpacker, or I would not say expert, but pretty well backpacker. And I can fairly easily carry 15-kilo backpack and hike up the trails fairly easily. But I think for Arpan it was fairly new, and he has done before backpacking too in Italy and all. But in Canadian lands, after coming to Canada, it was one of his first after 2-3 years or something. So when I took him to the trail, I was feeling very confident. Oh, come on, what is the difficulty? And he was saying that, give me some time. I need to take some breathe fast, and then I can continue. Realize that I had not done it for last 2-3 years, right? So I will need some time. So I think that's why he is saying that don't run while you are going.
Yeah.
And I told that and he was doing glacier, by the way, after 1 month, and glacier is even more difficult. The Cracker Lake and the Iceberg Lake and the Hidden Lake, they have like very steep trails. And I was saying that if you are doing glacier after 1 month, you better need to get used to this, whole Killarney things, Southern Ontario stuff easily. Then you can do glaciers and all. But I think he really did very well. He did very well in that Killarney as well. And even in glacier, I think he cracked it. He had got cracker images. He started hiking from 2 a.m. That man has conviction. I mean, he woke up at 2 a.m. at night and then hiked the whole trail to Cracker Lake to get the sunrise. And it's a 4-hour hike, very steep. And I know that. And I did not do that hike when I was in glacier. So yeah.
Interesting. Anybody wants to ask? Because I think there's one question that I had in mind is that the raging debate that we've had, we are having these days about the influence of the social media on photographers, to an extent that there are photographers who have molded their style to shoot images which are instant, which can become an instant hit on social media platforms like Instagram in particular. And even though the style and the final result might not look as good as their skill levels actually are. So what is your take on this? Because on one hand, if I go by my thing, that I have earned my bread and butter because of social media presence, and but I still have the love and hate relationship. But you don't earn your living because of that. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, so there was an internet meme that I was seeing a couple of days ago that what if Instagram goes down tomorrow? Boom, you're not a model.
Yeah.
So same thing can be told to those people, like who solely rely on Instagram or something, that what if Instagram is banned tomorrow in India? Boom, you are not a photographer anymore. So if that's the case, then I think it's kind of better not to be a kind of photographer just for Instagram, right? I have known people. There are people in both the places of the world, in here in US and in in India, who solely kind of does photography for Instagram and other social media. Social media has like big impact in all of our lives, and it's undeniable, right? So even I came to know about all of you guys through social media itself. But you know what kind of pictures it can easily get, like 100 likes or 10,000 likes or whatever it is, and they go like really Insta famous, and then there's like Insta babes, Insta famous, and Insta photographers. Everything is Insta nowadays. But we should at least have some parts that where we have another medium of our art, be it print media, or be it on your own exhibitions. I think that it's very important to have those kind of avenues explored, so that at least you can make sure that if there is no social media tomorrow, you will still be a photographer. You will still remain your right. And I don't know why the exhibitions lost its charm, good old charm, but I feel that exhibitions should be back mainstream again. I mean, I don't feel that there has been enough exhibition recently in any of the places. And now this COVID-19 thing is going on. But I think that we should all explore a separate avenue to express our arts. And it's really false to say that we only create art for ourselves. If that's true, then none of us will be in social media. We'll all be creating arts in photography, in photographs and all, and we'll keep quiet, because we are doing only for ourselves. That's not true. I'm not doing only for ourselves. I'm doing for the world and for me. So, but only thing is that the dependency on social media is very perilous.
Very well said. Very well answered. I think that's a very valid point to talk about. That I as an individual did not start photography for social media, and what will happen tomorrow if social media was to vanish? Will I suddenly find myself getting lost? I think that's a very valid point that you have made. So wonderful explanation there. Anybody wants to ask anything? Because we are already inching to 3 hours as usual. So my wife was saying that मैंने कहा 2 घंटे बाद आ जाएंगे, कहती है 2 घंटे तो आपके शुरू होते हैं. मैंने कहा ठीक है. So we are already proven to people that we have off late started taking liberty of taking it up to 3 hours. Nothing wrong as far as we are enjoying. And social media, because I was this very recently we hosted another photographer, very kind of underrated photographer, but very less known also, from India, Prabir. If you can go and check the session that we had, he's not even present on Instagram, and he's not bothered. Is a different level, and there are many photographers like that who have zero presence on social media.
True. And I think I have utmost respect for them, like who can, in today's world, who can survive totally without trusting social media.
See, what I feel, social media works as a marketing platform.
True.
Okay.
Definitely.
When Facebook started 2011, 12, 13, at back that time, 2008, 7, 8, all those times, there is social media. People used to share and all. Marketing was different. Okay. But now social media is working as a marketing platform. If you
Definitely,
see,
yeah.
Instagram is all about marketing, how you market yourself. Okay, there are some people who only post in social media, that is there, but what I see, more than 70% people who is doing social media is only because of marketing. Okay, they are selling their tours on social media, they are selling their books, they are selling their workshops, everything is social media. So
Can I hide?
social media is going to stay here.
True.
It is not going anywhere. Either let's say Snapchat, let's say Instagram, let's say Facebook, let's say TikTok, or whatever is there, social media is going to stay. It is basically how you market yourself.
True. I agree. And it's the same that, we, like we drive like 3,000 kilometers, we hike like 30 miles of treks, and then we spend like sleepless nights, and then we come back the photos, and then we come here and we process for 8 hours or 9 hours, and then we post it on a square inch of space, Instagram.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
that's
we
the irony.
some of us
So
not
much effort.
concentrate on selling. Okay, there are a lot of people who sells on Instagram, who sells on Facebook. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
only
It
there
is
is no
marketing. Few of us does it for like and all, but there are a lot of things can be done as a marketing tool also.
what bothers me is that the medium of recognition is only Instagram nowadays. Seems like that it's only Instagram nowadays. Like no
I think
brands will.
it will change again.
It will change. It will take
everything has
time. It will
its own
change.
life. Everything has its own life, and eventually things will change again. And but I think it's like that debate that we have that terming money as being the evil of the cause of all bad things that happen is also not right, because there is money where we live because of, we survive because we earn money. Just because some people misuse it does not make money bad in a way.
No,
I
definitely.
think it's the use, the way you use it, and where most people are going wrong is that what Prakash just said, that everybody is trying to market, but what he did not say was that everybody is trying to market even when without having the right product in their hand. So they don't even know what they're trying to market. And
True.
and that is where the chaos is getting created. I think it is important for photographers.
No, I will disagree. Even if social media is not there, there are product which has been marketed which is not good enough
No, I'm
in a
talking from
different
the
platform.
photography. I'm talking from photography perspective.
Even in photography, it all goes on your following, how you market yourself. It doesn't mean it you need to be on social media.
Well,
Okay,
nowadays,
let's say I am not in social media, but I have a big knowing through persons. I will
yeah,
still sell lot more workshops than a deserving one.
it's true. It's true. It has happened earlier as well, in past as well, and even now it's happening. So it's just that, same thing over a different medium. Um, I would be just happy as long as our pictures can be viewed a little bit larger. That's my biggest complaint against Instagram, that they don't let you view pictures larger. All of our efforts seems to go waste. Prose harpening techniques, resizings, everything goes to waste when it is viewed from a square inch of space through mobile. When
So
marketing and
you
I
have,
can still live.
I don't know, you have already touched on the subject of workshops and how strongly you feel about photography workshops. What is your view towards tutorials and paid tutorials, or the free content out there on YouTube? How do you view?
Well, there are content free contents, YouTube and too, and you can learn from that too. There's nothing wrong in that. But some of my best learnings has been through tutorials that I have brought, and it has been from Ted Gore, Ryan There, and all those big names. And this I believe that paid tutorials or paid stuffs, paid one-to-one sessions, they have no replacement. And people are always kind of hard to spend money. If you offer something for free, especially in India, people will flock around things. Oh, there are some free stuffs. Let's gather around, and it's good. It's not that it's bad. It's good. But whenever you start charging money, and I have done that before. I have still done that. None of my stuffs were, paid for. My musics were free, softwares were free, pirated, everything, right? But right now, everything, at least I can claim that everything is paid for, starting from music and everything. And then, so why not the tutorials? Why not the sessions? Why not the one-to-one, instruction sessions? Why not the webinars, right? And that's what I was kind of posting in social media yesterday as well. That our experienced team members will be probably publishing webinars and all, but I don't know like how many people will respond, because it's ironic that just because it's not free, right? So yeah, it's painful.
It is ironical. It is. I think it is ironical. It has come to an extent where photographers who earn their living only through some kind of selling the paid tutorials or something like that, they are feeling constrained to even talk of money, because they probably are getting ignored the moment they talk about money. And I think I don't know what is the future, but yes.
Yeah, I feel that it's always better to have, like in my opinion, the content that I get free on YouTube is nowhere near the paid content that I get, in a paid tutorials, right?
Absolutely.
Or even in or in a one-to-one pricing sessions that I get from, like many of my friends does that, paid one-to-one sessions, and they barely get any attendees, and I don't know why, but they're really helpful. And I have been to one such sessions.
Oh, I can very easily vouch that I must have wasted 3 or 4 years of my photography journey by only referring to the free content out there. It is only
Same here. Relate to that.
Relate that content that I paid for is so much superior and so much in depth and so many things to learn from. That is where the difference started happening. I can only speak for myself. I cannot speak for others, but I can give out for that.
I mean, I have only started buying tutorials in 2015, I think, when I bought the 20 paper masks and all, and I think that changed the whole game. It was a game changer. And then the game changed again when I brought the tutorials from Randa and everyone, right? So people who are watching this and who thinks that it's not for nothing, it's not. It is for something. It is priced for a reason. Definitely there is good and bad, and you can be selective like what to buy and what to not, with whom you can choose to be in one-on-one sessions or whom you can choose to be in a webinar or not. But that's definitely your choice. But at the end of the day, it helps. It definitely helps a lot. I mean, that was the game changer for me in 2015, 2016, 2017, and I will do that even in future if I see it worth investing money. And it's not much. If the camera gears nowadays cost like $800, $900, and a tutorial costs barely $30, $50, right? Doesn't even cost much. So I think it's just a habit, right? So we are so used to downloading songs from free sites. Nobody cares about buying songs, but singers or artists, they spend a lifetime on creating a song, right? Nowadays, I buy all the songs in iTunes, and they just cost $1. It's just a cup of coffee, right? In India, it just costs 50 rupees. You just eat an egg roll, or some samosa or some chaat in a shop, and you spend 30 rupees. Can you not spend 50 rupees for a song you love so much? You can, but it's a habit of people that people are used to.
It's a habit. You rightly said it's a habit. It boils down to
trust.
Yeah.
Just for show off, they will buy bottled water, but they will not pay for a tutorial.
Tutorial, right? Right? So they will pay for Netflix, for an example, ironically, or Hotstar, and which costs subscription money. But same money, similar kind of money, if it costs for a webinar to learn something for photography, which can improve them, really up their game. No, it cannot, because people does not have that thought process that these things can cost money. Traditionally, these things were supposed to be kind of all free and YouTubes and all. People didn't care about arts. I feel that people doesn't care about arts that much in our country and
So
in
it
general.
is very surprising that you are frequently asked. I don't know whether this has happened to you guys as well. I get asked, can you send me the high-res version of this image? I get messages on Instagram, and you say, so then last year I started telling, okay, it will cost you $25, and they're gone. They're gone, absolutely gone.
Charge more probably.
Well,
and people should understand that this is not free. Like we spend lots of sweat and time and money and like countless hours, and some people's livelihood depend on this thing. So if I don't know why would they even expect that things for free, which they can easily get by just spending a little bit of money, not much, little bit of money, and it will so much better quality, right? I don't know. I mean, it is. I think one thing to do that, because they think that, oh, I cannot make money from them, so why should I spend from them? Well, you are spending money already. You are spending money through lens, through camera and everything. Why not spend a slightly more to up your game?
I think it's a topic that we should agree to really come as a panel and have only a panel discussion on that, and maybe invite some other photographers as well, not only our own team. We 2-3 more people from different kind of backgrounds, not only representing landscape photography. And I think that will be an interesting topic to discuss about and really get to understand what is the diverse point of views are and what is the way forward. I think we've had a wonderful discussion today. Anybody wants to ask any question? Otherwise, we can start winding up, because there are a few questions on YouTube, but I think I would like to skip them for the moment now, because we are already exactly 3 hours and we have started people getting dropped out. So anybody wants to ask any question on the panel? Otherwise, we can.
No, we are cool, I think.
Yeah, we are all good.
Yeah.
So it's been a wonderful session, and thank you. Let me be honest, let me repeat this. I think the 3rd or 4th time that I'm repeating on this, that it is wonderful knowing you all this time. I think that this lockdown, what it has done good to us is that bringing face to face with new talent and new wonderful souls whom we did not know earlier. And I'm glad that we all decided to start this particular series, first of Xtra Byte as well. And then second is that our own that we are starting today, to at least showcase our own work as well. And glad that you decided to come first. And guys, we will have many more sessions of each one of us lined up, and that we'll be sharing with you all very, very soon. And thank you, Atanu. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having that team.
Thank you.
So it's a self-team appreciations, but I really do appreciate all of us together. And
yeah, so yeah, thumbs up. All right, great,
Thank
fantastic. Fantastic. So guys, it's been a long but quite engaging session today. And thank you guys for sticking by and having a blast on YouTube. It was a different chat thread today that really amazed and that showed the camaraderie that we all have and we all possess. Thank you, Atanu, and see you soon again. And I think next session, Himadri, you are on?
Yep, I'm on.
Himadri.
I'm on.
Yeah, so we are going to have fun there as well. Thank you, guys. And tomorrow we are just to announce that tomorrow I am going one-on-one talk with one Nat Geo editor, former Nat Geo editor, and kind of street documentary, fashion, and kind of whatnot kind of photographer, Harfan Mola kind of photographer. She was also the judge of the Nat Geo Cover Shots 2013 edition and Ashima Narayan at 6 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to be one cracker of a session because I know both of us have known each other from quite a long time. So it's just two of us going in a candid chat, and she'll be sharing wonderful images. So
Awesome. We'll be there.
yeah. So thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
See
Bye
you
bye. Good night.
all soon.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Good night.
On YouTube as well. Bye bye.